Think we're ready. Welcome to the show before the show. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, and this is Local Game Group, where we make all your dreams come true, if they're TCG related. I'm joined by Will. Hey,
Hello.
Will. Do you like
So,
do you like that intro I just gave? Make all your dreams come
y-
true? Should we
indeed,
should we
we're
make that
Disney World up in this biatch.
exactly? Except we'll keep you employed. Don't worry, we'll pay you accordingly. Isn't there like a whole issue with AI and Disney right now? Don't they want to
I think
own
it's
everyone's
AI and
likeness?
Hollywood in general.
Right. Yeah, it's not just Disney, so I can't just throw them under the bus. Separately, have you been watching Ahsoka? Do you care for any
I
of
have not.
this? Okay, I don't know if you follow any of the recent Disney programs.
I'm aware of most of the recent Disney programs. I'm not like invested in any of them for the most part.
While I was organizing cards for my trade-in, I was just running Ahsoka in the background. I can't honestly say I absorbed that much, but I liked Ahsoka Tano from the animated series, so I figured it would be okay. It's fine. It's fine. They're doing a great job making their, TV or made for TV productions look as good as what you'd expect to see from a movie theater. I think we're at that point now. But the story's fine. The writing for a lot of their recent shows have been eh. I thought Loki was just okay the first season, so I'm excited to watch the second one because I like the aesthetic of Loki.
Yeah.
That's
I
about
mean,
it.
more Loki is always fun. Loki's like a Marvel fan favorite character.
Right, might be the best thing that is consistent in the MCU currently. I don't know when they're going to drop Loki, that actor Tom Hiddleston, but I enjoy him, so hopefully not soon. But at
Funny
any
how the
rate,
god of chaos, deception, and disorder is the most consistent and beloved thing in Disney.
yeah, how is that? Speaking of chaos and disorder, I'm gonna tease our legendary for today. If you couldn't tell by the over the top thumbnail, I really like Hanks a lot, and I really like Daryl, Hunter of Walkers, a lot. I think that was his official name. If you're wondering why this card, if you're just playing pre-release and you pulled Honks and you're like, what is a walker? Why am I seeing, what is this? This has to do with the very first secret lair drop. So if you didn't know, there was no real game plan at first. They just wanted to break into representing other IPs in Magic the Gathering, so far as I could tell. But we have a universes within, which is Honks, and a universes outside, universes beyond. Universes beyond. That was The Walking Dead. This has been something I've been waiting for quite a long time. I think this was actually released before everybody's favorite Gruul commander, Minkskin Boo. However, I still find this to be probably one of the best, most aggressive Gruul legends you can put in the command zone, even now. So everyone has the perfect excuse to play it now. You don't have to run the walker tokens. Just get yourself some zombies. Treat your pals to a couple of free blockers or attackers. Everyone's happy. What I really like about the zombies, by the way, just to piggyback on this idea of Honks being the best in Gruul, the fact that if you have a player that it consistently doesn't run enough bodies, you can give them blockers for any sort of potential Tymna swings. So that's one less person you have to worry about the Tymna player drawing from, because a 2/2 zombie is going to kill a Tymna, right? So there's that there. But obviously, it's the last effect on this card we care most about. And this is obviously without going too far into this legendary. But if you want to follow along with the deck tech, you can in the description. There's a bunch of cool stuff down there for you. There's a link tree. You could apparently subscribe to it. I haven't tried that. Let me know if it works for you. Also, if you enjoy this content and you want to help support it, there's plenty of ways to do that too. But Will, do you think, do you like my hot take? What do you think is the best Gruul commander?
There've been a couple interesting rule commanders recently. I don't know which one is the best without like quickly looking through all of them,
Hmm.
but this is an interesting one. Also, I'm going to be calling him Tom for the entirety of the stream just because it's Tom Hanks. It's almost
Oh,
Tom Hanks.
does he look? I'm trying to. His character art is like very far back there. I like the art a lot. I almost wish this was like full art. It feels like it deserves it with a horde of zombies rushing at him. He's such a badass. This is even better than Daryl. Like the Daryl art's cool, I think. Like he's just walking through the wilderness with a crossbow. I like that they kept the crossbow, but they made it an even gnarlier crossbow. And then he's also got like a dirk or just a short dagger. So freaking sick.
Yeah,
But
he went from cool on the original art to absolute badass on the second art.
mm-hmm.
Like,
Yes,
yeah. I'm just gonna be like stalking around with a bow too. I'm going to 1v40 an army of zombies.
is live chat broken? No, I think it's working. Here. I hope so. Okay, I see you. Hi. So, Ragadraga is your favorite Gruul commander?
Looking through all of them, I think it's probably either. I think it's probably Miria is the best Gruul commander. She's the Gruul Urza.
So everyone suggests Minx and Boo, or at least I get a lot of people suggesting Minx and Boo. Is there a way I can get this to go full screen? That's close enough. Yeah, Minx and Boo is interesting because at ETBs and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may create a Boo token. It's a legendary 1/1 red hamster creature token with trample, and this is regardless of whether Boo is already out on the battlefield. So for some reason, if you need to remove your Boo, you can replace the Boo. And generally, what happens is you'll play Minx and Boo, and then you'll buff Boo, the hamster, right?
Yeah.
So afterwards, cast Berserk on it, give it a buff spell, and then deal a mess of damage to any one target based off of Boo's power, because it's going to be Boo. And then obviously draw that many cards. Hope someone doesn't like smack you in the face with the Orcish Bowmaster now, right?
Yeah.
This is fairly consistent. What's nice about it is it's an ETB effect, so provided you have infinite mana, you're actually able to do this repeatedly and -2 people out. Don't ask me how all that works, okay? I'm not fancy. I have not thought about Minx and Boo in years, but I know this channel came to the conclusion that you can use it as an outlet. I forget the proper method.
The line is that you keep having the Planeswalker ping itself, so at ETB makes a Boo token, then you sacrifice the Boo token to ping itself, which is 3 loyalty counters lost in total, recast it from the command zone, repeat.
Hmm.
So I think it's just like ETB, make a Boo, -2 and take 1 to draw a card. ETB, make a Boo, -2. And so I guess that's
this is just to draw a deck, essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And with your infinite mana, you just win the game with whatever.
Whatever you pull into. Yeah. I like that. That works for me. There's a classic guy who smacks people for huge damage every non-creature spell too. Forget his name. Rurik Thar? Yeah, Rurik Thar is up there too. So you've got, let me see here. Someone said Svella. I actually really like Svella as a commander. It's definitely not a popular one, but it just makes mana, which is never a bad thing.
I cannot wait to see what people do with Agatha, because I feel like Agatha honestly could be the best Gruul commander.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot Agatha's now a proper thing. Set is out. If you have your copy of Agatha, let me know if you're building for the Vile Cauldron. But there's plenty of good Gruul commanders. It's been ages since I've built for green, though. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't thought about green as a color in years. I haven't thought to brew for it in such a long time that I'm willing to bet that there are plenty of combos that exist in Gruul. I just haven't thought about them. I mean, I'm thinking of Underworld Breach stuff, but there has to be other things. I generally like draw in the command zone if I'm like in these colors. That's kind of why in my mind I'm favoring a Hanks or a Minx and Boo, but this effect is really good. I'm excited to see people brew for Agatha for sure.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that it's like a weird, training grounds in the command zone that is also an infinite mana outlet and a haste enabler it's just nice. It's very nice. And 2 CMC, easy to get out.
Super easy to get out. Just, culling rituals scare me.
Yeah.
How do you spell Rurik Thar? I'm trying to find him. Am I incorrect? Doesn't matter. Let me see here. It's my spell Eldrazi Winter. Lukewarm Take. I think green is the weakest color in cEDH. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone kind of agrees that it's the worst color in cEDH right now.
Agatha belongs in Svella. Actually, yes. Actually, entirely, yes, that is true. If Agatha was in Svella, Svella would be extremely potent. All right, I think we can maybe officially kick this off, and I'll sort of run through my ideas on the deck. But hey, welcome to Local Game Group. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, your local game guy. Today I'm joined by Will. Hello, Will. So we both had some free time, and as we do every Wednesday, we like to brew list here, namely a list for legendaries that I love. So this is one I've been waiting for quite some time, to be a Universes Within card, just so I don't have to hear shit from anybody. Sadly, that's honestly one of the main reasons why I didn't play Daryl. I couldn't even find a list for my Daryl before, but I remember getting so much grief from talking about the Secret Lair, The Walking Dead, and now it's just commonplace. But at the time, like the climate was not right. People did not want to see people playing with Secret Lair cards, and it sucked because I liked The Walking Dead, and I actually really liked Daryl. So now I have a totally PC way to play without upsetting people, and that's Hanks. What was that?
It also helps because the reason why people were primarily upset with the previous Secret Lairs was because they were reserve list Secret Lair cards that were limited time only, so they were pressuring people into buying cards with a very distinct time limit. So
Yeah.
it was like, wow, this is a scummy marketing tactic. But it turns out that wasn't what they were going to be doing, because they're like, oh yeah, we're just going to actually print it. So
Yeah.
people are more chill about it now.
Yeah.
Also, we got really cool new art.
Yeah, this art's amazing. So if you don't know who Daryl is, nor Hanks, let's start with our boy here. So the Slayer Zealot for 2 generic and Gruul, 4/4 body, legendary creature, human archer. At the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent creates 3 walkers. I kind of wish this was every upkeep, but it would be really broken if it was. Okay, so
You draw, what, 12 every rotation?
oh my god, yes. You know what though? I'm not gonna lie, 3 is quite a bit. So you can do things like Stronic Resonator or Lithiform Engine, unless there was something new added to the game. I believe those are the only 2 that functionally work with this to duplicate that triggered effect on upkeep. But you will want to do that if you can. It is quite the investment in resources, but I think it's good here, and I'll explain why in a second. So you can tap Hanks Slayer Zealot, and it'll deal 2 damage, to any target creature. Namely zombies, but what's cool here is it'll kill some low B commanders. So it's a 4/4. You can use this to strike down a bunch of commanders that regularly see play in cEDH. And if you need to bump this up even further, untap effects in the deck will do wonders, right? So you can shoot down a Crom, hit any sort of 3 defense commander that's out there. People, I can't downplay how effective this ability is. It doesn't cost you anything outside of tapping Hanks, and you do 2 damage to target creature at instant speed. So it is quite good. If people forget that there's damage on their commander, that is, X defense over 2, and this puts them within range, you can just kill commanders very, very easily. The sad bit of news is that it's only target creatures, so you can't kill planeswalker commanders with this, but you are handing out 6 damage worth of zombies, so expect those to go sideways or even hold themselves up as a block for opposing Timnalist. It's honestly really, really good, both those effects. But the best part is whenever a zombie an opponent controls dies, draw a card. Now, there aren't many great ways to create zombies for your opponents in Gruul. As a matter of fact, I think Hanks is it.
Yes, I just checked, by the way.
Okay, so, but with that in mind, note that this is the color of Clasms. So you have Whipflare, you have the Pyroclasm, of course. You have so many effects, both sorcery, instant, and now enchantment-based, that will do mass damage to every creature. And 2's the magic number, right? Which means a Hanks stays alive through all of this. You're going to go ahead and just nuke the board of zombies and anything else that's out there and draw an excess amount of cards. So this is going to keep your hand flush as you're going about your turns. Obviously, you'll still want to use other draw effects in the deck. This might even be a list that wants the One Ring, as well as the Sylvan Library, as well as, pick your staple draw effect. You're still going to run those. But the idea is you're going to control what creatures the board sees. And I've had so many games recently where I've just been locked out because of a Dranith, because of Orcish Bowmaster, because of an opposition agent, because so many damn creatures of value have been printed in recent date. And what's nice is Hansk allows you to eliminate those threats. If there's a Dranith, you're going to have to rely on your deck to eliminate the board. However, this deck is almost like kill spell tribal. It just does a lot of it because it needs to. In vanilla, you could just pop a singular zombie at the end of, before rotation passes to you and draw a card. That's really not that bad. But I could see us using potentially Sting in this list to get 2 activations on Hanks, and then obviously that's on turn. If you had Sting on Hanks, imagine you're able to ping things twice every single turn, right? So you'd be able to ping thing once on turn, untap it, tap it again, so you can go up to 4 damage. But then every other player's turn, it'll be able to block as a defender, but also crack down on someone.
It's also great because you can hold off the ping for 1 turn so that you can go deal 4 on your turn, pass, untap it, get it around again, then tap it, move to combat, untap it, tap it. So you can kill 2 Croms with Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. So, Will, I'm sorry, I've been doing a lot of talking. Feel free to chime in with any of your thoughts on this legendary. Again, I have plenty. There aren't many synergies for archers, but there are for humans. I think the big search, or the big thing for us to do today, is going to be to try to find spells that operate like Blasphemous Act, or things that care about, the number of creatures on the board. Maybe there are some ways we can crack this card with that, but any thoughts? Any sort of includes immediately coming to mind?
So my first initial include, because my issue with this deck when it initially came out is Gruul has no good way of closing the game, or no consistent or easy way of closing the game. It does now.
Wait, which is this?
This is a Hanger Scrounger, because we have Seeker of Skybreak Hanger Scrounger as a combo now in Gruul, which you can find a lot easier because now you have a ton of draw and creature tutors. And you already probably want the Seeker of Skybreak because it's an untap effect for your commander, so you get multiple pings.
Yeah. So this is the Hanger Scrounger Will's talking about. Let me see if I can... Does this help? It does help. Wait. If I do this... let's do this. Sorry, it's just adjusting the frame so you guys can see more of it. That looks good to me. Yeah, but what happens when I go over here? Oh, okay. No, still okay. Yeah, I like that. All right. Yeah, so there's the Hanger Scrounger, Seeker of Skybreak combo that Will was mentioning. Obviously, there's everything with Underworld Breach, which we're still probably going to rely on. I should just go for everything here. Skybreak. Seeker of Skybreak's really cool because it just allows you to untap target creature. Obviously, this combos with a lot of things. It is quite good, though. Just vanilla with Hunks, you're going to do more damage every single turn and sort of eliminate the board of threats. Before I continue, I want to go over some comments, and then I want to add some just general includes, and then I want to do the things that we're going to have to actively search up. But, okay. I cannot wait for her to be available on Amazon. Agatha? Does Amazon sell singles now, Night Owl? You can either
Amazon always sells singles.
Has it really?
Yeah. They're just usually a bit more expensive than market price, but you can sometimes get them for cheaper.
All right, well, I wish I had an affiliate link for you. But in either way, enjoy the card. Agatha's going to be great. I need to buy Agatha's Cauldron eventually. I usually buy my stuff through TCG Player. And I'll probably be picking that up along with some other cards for One Piece soon. So how does Hanks compete in at all in cEDH? We can talk about it as we keep going, but it's essentially what I stated there. Well, technically Generous Gift exists, but we're not running that. There's another card that just came out in white that's even better than Generous Gift. Did you see it? It's
Stroke of Midnight.
Stroke of Midnight. Did we talk about this at all?
I can't remember if we're going to be bringing this up in a future short, but because I think it was an honorable mention just because it's Generous Gift, but you give a 1/1 instead of a 3/3.
Right. So you can't, mind you can't hit lands. Generous Gift can, but you're a real asshole if you put like that one player off a color.
You hit a guy's cradle. That's the one thing that's relevant.
I guess that's the one thing that's probably fair, Magic. But yeah, giving them a 1/1 human in exchange instead of a 3/3 elephant is way better. Okay, Awaken the erstwhile is fun. Draw your deck.
Which ones?
Awaken the erstwhile in black though. Yeah. Food chain squee. Stormtrooper, we technically could do food chain squee here, but there's
So,
no real appropriate outlet for
yeah,
it.
I think this is in response to me saying there's no good Gruul win con up until Hanger Scrounger. The reason why
Oh,
Food Chain
oh.
Squee is kind of bad is one, our commander isn't an outlet, and two, we can't search up Food Chain. We can
Mhm.
search up Hanger Scrounger and Seeker of Skybreak.
Yes. So one thing before we jump into this, I like to cover the land base for you guys, so you know what's what. I made this before we obviously started today. It's an even split between the basic forest and mountains. This can change obviously depending on the composition of the deck. I really value in lists that don't care about ad nauseum. I really value the MDFC lands. I still think they're really good. Bolting yourself for 3 is generally not that much of an issue. You're usually winning in a cEDH setting, you're usually not losing to damage that way, especially if you're the Gruul list. People aren't really going to be targeting you for attacks, although they could, I suppose, with the zombies you're giving them. Generally speaking, those bodies are used for diabolic intents and blocking, so it's really not the end of the world. Plus, you're not going to give the black decks the zombies. Probably shouldn't. So the rest of the land base is as such. I'm just going to go over the tech cards. Beseiju Who Endures, you want it in every green list. Cavern of Souls, we're not going to rely on dorks in this deck. I think that we might go for a Utopia Sprawl or a Wild Growth for some additive ramp, obviously Carpet of Flowers, but I don't think we're going to use any, because as was mentioned in the comments, like Pyroclasm effects, right? We're going to be running a lot of that, so we don't really want to play out things to nuke our own board. It's a little counter to this general strategy, but what that also means is we're freeing up a lot of space for other good cards, like Interaction, potentially Stacks. We can talk about that. This list it's good. It's not going to be winning like turbo speeds because we are lacking black and a lot of the consistency of having those tutors in this deck. Forbidden Orchard, it's kind of a must. It's okay if you're giving away spirits, you're gonna nuke them along with everything else. Painland, all of our rainbow lands, Prismatic Vista. There's really no other form of utility land in here to mention outside of maybe the Tarnished Citadel. It's just a good include here again when we need the color fixing. There's plenty of generic in the cost of the classrooms we're going to be rolling with, so I'm not too
Are you
concerned about the damage there.
are you running the give life land, the land that taps for either color and gives your opponent a life, or gives an opponent a life?
Which one's that? Do you remember?
I cannot remember the name of it, but I know that only Gruul has that.
Uh,
I'll find it. I'll
Life
find it in a bit.
lands. Oh, I'll find it now. I know I'm not, and that's interesting. I don't know what that is. It's specifically Gruul colors.
Yep.
Oh, Grove of Burn Willows. I used to have a From the Vaults version of this card.
That's a potential include instead of the basic, just because it gives us more opportunities. Yeah, Burnwell's Bloodblade got it just
Hmm.
the second after you got it.
Yeah,
Um,
I like Grove of Burn Willows. I'm gonna put it on the sideboard for now, and we can sort of dictate where that goes later. But why don't we just start this off? Just go with our kind of basic includes. So, interaction. Do we want guttural response? So our forms of interaction, our fast mana, all that stuff.
I will also say to the two things in chat for Kiki Jiki as another potential combo. We might run Kiki in the end. I'm not the biggest fan of Kiki just because 5 mana do nothing until you get the combo with a 3 mana card that does nothing until you get the combo other than something to untap Tom.
Mhm.
And then for Ashaya and Argothian Elder, same kind of problem. Ashaya's 5 mana do nothing, Argothian Elder's 4 mana do nothing. So they're kind of just
I
eh.
think I would rather run dual caster mage combos and underworld breach combos. You also have the potential to make infinite mana with a Dockside in this list. We're going to be running Dockside Extortionist anyways, but you could do Tamir Sabertooth and that. It's not essential, and we don't necessarily have an outlet in the command zone to where that would be of benefit for us. I actually don't mind self-mill strategies in these colors, whether that's with Hermit Druid or Mesmeric or Basalt Monolith. Obviously, Druid's easier to find, and you can also rely on Anger in certain circumstances to haste enable, to allow for any outlets that you might bring back from your graveyard. Also, with the amount of draw we should be getting, this might be a potential deck for the new Loam Crafter Fawn. I'm just throwing out a bunch of utilities, but again, I kind of just want to start with getting some of our core cards. I put Elvish Spirit Guide, Simian Spirit Guide, Carpet of Flowers, Tinderwall. Metamorphose I really like. It's a Storm card. We don't necessarily need it, but I do like the color fixing and hand fixing from it. Seems like a free include. And people don't generally counter Metamorphose. I also put in Guttural Response because I'm always recommended it. I don't know how I feel about the card personally, but it's okay. Pyroblast, Red Elemental Blast, yes. Those are going in. What are some other includes, excuse me, that you can think of?
Have we put in Spiteful Banditry yet?
No. So we actually haven't touched, and I'll wait to do this. I want to do like a proper search for this, but what Will is suggesting is the new from Lord of the Rings enchantment, the new Meat Hook Massacre in red. But essentially, it's generating treasures for us when we kill things with honks. It's also killing things just by virtue of being Spiteful Banditry. You pay X to just nuke the board. It's a really good, I'm going to call it a Clasm. It's not properly a Clasm. I guess if we just want to consider Clasms cards that do damage to every creature, it's a Clasm. Pyroclasm itself just does 2 damage vanilla every creature for 2. We could add all of those in a second, though. I guess I would say like the core things we need to look up are damage to all creatures, anything that cares about bodies on the field, and of course our combo setup. Like, what is that suite going to look like? It's likely going to be creature based in these colors. Just being honest. Let me see here.
So for Midno Green, yeah, so it only gets 1 treasure per turn when something dies. So if 2 things die, you only get 1 treasure. But the thing is, we're making zombies for each player, and those things are going to be dying multiple times per turn, so we can get up to 4 treasures per rotation pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just another Pyroclasm effect. So worst case scenario, it's another Pyroclasm that gets us a treasure. Best case scenario, it's getting us a lot of treasures. It's a Smothering Tithe for 2 mana, kind of.
I'm literally just working on fast mana right now. So rituals, fast mana, and of course we've got our guides. We've got the carpet. Like I said, I might do Utopia Sprawl, and I might do Wild Growth. I like them because they will remain as we're burning the board, but just bear in mind it is another tick for the opposing Dockside Extortionist, but that's, neither here nor there. It's going to happen whether you want it to or not. I've got Mox Diamond, Chrome Mox, Jeweled Lotus, Lotus Petal, Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, Mana Vault. I don't think we need to go as high as Grim Monolith. Do we want any 2 CMC rocks in this list?
I think they could be better than the Dorks just because we're planning on wiping the board a lot. So maybe I would rather put the green ramp enchantments before putting the rocks, though. Carpet of Flowers, Wild Growth, those kind of things.
So I've got the 3, like the Fab 3. I've got Utopia Sprawl, Wild Growth, and Carpet of Flowers. I don't think I'm missing anything artifact-wise here. I don't think so. I have to take a look outside of this window. There's Mox Amber that we're not going to use. No, I think that's it. We've got a lot here. Tinderwall is a really good one, and I've got the 4 rituals that are generally used. We can add Seething Song. I'm not sure it quite makes the cut, but it is still really good. Let's do Seething Song in the sideboard. I don't necessarily think we're going to be... Oh god, what's it doing? Seething Song. Okay. Let me see here. What's the objective win con of the deck? Cody. Oh, I'm going to tell you. in just a second. Is Goblin and Archromancer an option? with
That's
wiping.
the your red and green spells cost one less, but it's a 2/2.
Each spell you cast that's red and green costs one less. Huh. Um, Probably not gonna make the
Yeah,
cut. I think that will add maybe Goblin Engineer. Like, I don't mind that dying. That's fine. And I do think we're gonna run a Loam Crafter Fawn or Eternal Witness. Or both, honestly. Eternal Witness.
yeah.
And I'm just
I
gonna add Noxious Revival now.
was wondering why you thought Lone Crafter Fawn was so good, but then I'm like, oh wait, yeah, we're gonna have a massive hand. That's not bad.
We should have some spare lands to boot to recover some cards. And the tutors in the second are going to be pretty precious. So we might do, obviously, Gamble. Haven't added any tutors. Worldly Tutor. What are the best tutors in Gruul? Go.
Worldly Tutor, Sylvan Tutor, Green Sun Zenith, Finale of Devastation, Invasion of Ikoria, Court of Calling, um, what is it, Reckless Abandon or Reckless Handling? Um, and then we already said Gamble, and then we have
Court of Calling. I'm going to sideboard Court of Calling. I'm not sure we're going to be able to cast it quite so easily. But I do want to do Finale of Devastation.
yeah, I mean Court of Calling is just Finale of Devastation, but we tap Tom while doing everything else.
Is Court of Calling. How much mana is Court of Calling? Like 4 or 5?
It's a one green more than Finale.
Lies.
No lies.
Convoke,
It's one.
search your library. Oh.
The fact that it's an instant is what I like.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think I missed one. Because I did Gamble, Worldly Tutor,
Invasion?
Invasion of
Invasion of
Ikoria.
Ikoria?
I don't want to do Sylvan Tutor if I don't have to. We'll see. We,
Sylvan Tutor's just good, especially considering the fact that we can play it, then tap Tom to immediately draw a card.
let's see here.
The fact that we can just tap Tom and say, I don't give up, is pretty good.
Yeah, let me see it really quick. Invasion of Ikoria enters the battlefield, search your library, graveyard, non-human creature, the mana value X or less, and put onto the battlefield. If your library is searched this way, shuffle. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, but Sylvan Tutor is the one that I was saying is good enough because of Tom specifically.
Sylvan Tutor.
Because we're going to draw it immediately on our turn.
It's true. It is true. And when he's right, he's right. Can't be wrong. I think that's it. Did I put
Yeah.
Goblin Engineer in already? Okay, yes.
Don't know.
I did, in fact.
I'm
Okay.
gonna quickly look up all the other potentially slightly more jank ones because there's probably like one I'm forgetting about. Oh, Eldritch
Sig-
Evolution might be good.
Signal to Clans. Oh yeah, Eldritch Evolution's amazing.
And Imperial Recruiter is also pretty good just to find a dockside or to find a combo piece.
Imperial Recruiter is probably going to find like a dual caster mage line. See
Yeah.
that. Okay, so to get back to the question that Cody posed earlier, what I want to do with this list is probably going to revolve around. Is there a survival of the fittest line here? No, not generally. Is there
Kind of. You can use the Loam Crafter to do survival lines now, I guess.
I was thinking that, right? Because
You
provided
can
we have enough lands.
back. Yeah. Is there
Dryad Arbor. You could literally pitch a Dryad Arbor with Loam Crafter Fawn. But it's a tutorable. Does that make Dryad Arbor playable?
No. The idea is that we just keep going tutor creature, discard that creature, tutor creature, discard that creature, tutor creature, discard it for Loam Crafter, play Loam Crafter, get all those things that we discarded back to hand.
Right.
So we can turn survival into like a tutor 5 cards.
But what is the pile? And you need a lot of lands to make that work, obviously.
Yeah. Well, we can set up the pile on an opponent's turn, so it's just 3 mana plus whatever we need. Um,
Right. I'm thinking it's probably going to involve Dockside to some extent, right? Just to get the ball rolling on all of this.
yeah. So it's probably like Dockside Sabretooth Elvish Mystic, something like that. Make infinite mana, draw your deck.
Elvish Mystic.
Yeah.
Um, if we did do Dryad Arbor, I know it sounds silly. Would that body be of benefit? Let me see here. What are
It's
some of the
gonna
ones?
die. That body's gonna die.
I know, I know. Is there like a mass recursion, like creatures that entered the battlefield this turn return them to the battlefield in these colors? I don't think so.
There's Grave Sifter, which is kind of that. It's a 5 mana creature ETB. Everybody choose a creature type. Return all creatures of those types from their graveyard to their owner's hands.
Mm, okay,
If
well
we can
that's
find like a tribal line, then we can get there. But I don't think we're gonna have a tribal line.
mm-hmm. Bind, counter target activated ability, draw a card. I don't mind bind. Um,
Oh, sorry, 6 mana, not 5 mana for Grave Sifter. Dang.
no, that's okay. So I guess the only other tutor I was considering is potentially Pyre of Heroes. I'm gonna see what we can pyre into here, though, if anything. So we could pyre Plant Wall, Ape Spirit, Satyr Druid, Human Advisor. There's no real good pyre combos or lines in here. Oh, do we want
Yeah.
Ragavan, by the way? Probably want Ragavan.
Yeah, it makes treasure. Rag makes treasures, and yes, we're gonna be giving people zombies later, but we don't care. Um,
Yeah, it's just a start of the game kind of card. It's also
yeah,
another body we can ditch to the survival of the fittest. We don't have to think up lines quite yet, but let's see here. Broken Bond, if you have a full hand, maybe that makes the cut. Broken Bond. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. It's kind of interesting. I
yeah.
actually like
It's
that.
I've played that in a cEDH deck before, but it was I think that was one of the variations of Golgari Godo Stick Fingers.
Mm-hmm.
It used that because that was just good removal and land ramp. I don't think we need it here because we're not trying to go greedy hyper ramp in this deck.
Right. So there's two options here. The Battle Mage Bracers were a suggestion. We could do Summoner's Pact as also a suggestion. I'll put Summoner's Pact in. I need to see if we actually have. I don't like running these packs unless you are enabling a win or stopping a win.
The reason why I like Pact a little bit is just because we can find the Loam Crafter Fawn, then play it, getting back Pact, then Pact again,
Mm-hmm.
and we get something else back, so we can assemble combos with that. My only issue is the fact that we can only tutor green things with it, but hopefully we can work around that.
Does this deck want Illusionist Bracers or Battle Mage Bracers?
Uh, if we're running a lot of removal, I think we can work around it.
Mm-hmm. The Reaver Cleaver.
Uh,
Whenever this creature
well,
deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, create them any tokens. It's not so bad. I want something that buffs me based on the number of creatures my opponent controls or something like that. I will put Twin Flame in the list really quick. Twin Flame and Heat Shimmer is going to be shoe-ins, I think. Let me see here. Twin Flame, Heat Shimmer, just because we have the dual caster line going. But now I kind of want to look at our Clasm. So damage each creature in Gruul. Just want to see what we have. And we're going to narrow it down to, I guess, instance sorceries. I guess we don't need to narrow it down at all. I kind of want to see all of them.
Yeah, Agatha's Cauldron was a recommendation. I think Agatha's Cauldron could definitely go in here just because it's so good. Card's so dumb.
Right. So with survival of the fittest, that's another thing I was thinking of. Like, is there a setup we can do with Agatha's Cauldron if it's in our hands, right? Or better yet, because we can get the Goblin Engineer. I'm thinking
Right.
we can do Goblin Engineer. So we'll discard Anger, right? Let's say we discard
Yes.
Anger, and then we give ourselves haste, provided we have a mountain. If you guys don't know what Anger is, it's this. There's a line of wacky cards that gives you your creatures or your board an effect that it wouldn't otherwise have if it's in your graveyard and another condition is met. And Anger is, I believe, having a mountain and it being in your graveyard. So really cool survival tool. So survival Anger, get the Goblin Engineer to Agatha's Cauldron. Agatha's Cauldron can then be, because of the haste enabling, swapped out for something on your board, likely a treasure from your own Dockside Extortionist, something like that. But what is the setup if we do that? I think there's a convoluted line here, but I think there is an actual playable line. I also think that Underworld Breach is just a strategy. Underworld Breach and Grinding Station. Sorry, it's just something you do in these colors. We don't have to do it though. There might be a better play line. It might be Dualcaster, Heatshimmer, Twin Flame, and there might be survival lines we can compose. But I do want to just look at our mass damage effects. So we've got a few suggestions from the audience. Stormtrooper earlier said Star of Extinction. I see Magma Quake, Starstorm. Bloodblade is... Oh, thank you guys for making those suggestions again. Really though, I really appreciate it. The interaction you're providing this channel is everything YouTube wants to see. I'm going to go ahead and include the ones I know, and that is Whip Flare. And is Whip Flare one word? It is. Okay. We're going to add Pyroclasm. Okay, I've made you wait long enough. Starstorm, Magma Quake, and Star of Extinction. What do you think about those ones?
Let's see. Starstorm, I think, can be good just because it's an instant speed one. I do like that. Magma Quake and Star of Extinction. If I remember correctly, Star of Extinction is just the big one, right?
Mm.
Yeah, Star of Extinction's too big. It's 7 mana, destroy a land or destroy several lands. Destroy a land and then deal 20 to everything. You don't want to deal 20. You don't want to kill Tom
No.
Hansk.
No. Ideally not. We can run Rolling Earthquake is a good one. But it's a little overcosted for what we're doing. I think I need to get to the... Ooh, Subterranean Tremors is sweet, by the way. I like Subterranean Tremors a lot. I don't think it's used here, though. Sadly. Whoa. I want to look at some untapped utilities also. I know we mentioned Sting earlier. I actually don't mind Sting in this deck. I think that's actually kind of a cool idea.
I like Sting as well. Sting is just very good. Also, it's a buff, meaning that he's not going to die as easily to a couple different things, and it makes it so that you'll always have a blocker.
Mm-hmm. Hold up. Friendly Rivalry. Target creature you control and up to one other legendary creature you control each deal damage equal to their power to target creature you don't control. Nah, it's not what we want. Do you run a lot of discard? Have a lot of discard. Glinthorn Buccaneer maybe for filtering cards with that much mana.
Glinthorn Buccaneer could be a kill with Seeker of Skybreak loop. The Hanger Scrounger Seeker of Skybreak. If we want to do that, we can. I don't think we need the Glinthorn because in theory we should be doing breach things with that. And we want breach lines anyways. So I think breach is better than Glinthorn.
And what was the Hanger Scrounger? I'm just adding these to the sideboard. Any sort of combos that we can potentially rely on or get to. So sorry, we're just going literally down the list of all of our clasms, guys. Sorry. If you can you see this, Will, by the way? Any of these clasms?
You mean the ones that you're adding right now or the ones that people are typing?
Yeah, I don't know if you're viewing this. I don't want to.
I can see them on the side, but I'm looking up ways that we can do Agatha's Cauldron combos.
Oh, okay, yeah. Please do that.
Yeah. Sadly, I'm not bumping into any because for those who don't know, the lines that you can usually do with Agatha's Cauldron involve getting a untapped creature instead of Necrotic Ooze, like something that can untap Agatha's Cauldron, and then you tap Agatha's Cauldron, exile the untapped creature, put a counter on one of your creatures, tap it, untap Agatha's Cauldron, exile something else, put a counter on another creature, tap that creature, untap Agatha's Cauldron, exile something else, put a counter on something, and then you have a combo. So it's basically a Necrotic Ooze line, but you replace Necrotic Ooze with an untapped creature. We don't have a good untapped creature in Gruul. I think the best option that we have is that one really bad artifact creature that says you can pay 2 colorless to untap a non-creature artifact you control.
Mm.
I think that is the best option that we have, and that's not horrible, but that's not great.
Hmm. Is there? I know there's that thing that can make copies of itself, that artifact creature where you pay 7 and it makes a token copy of itself.
Of something. It makes a token copy of a target artifact.
Right. That's too expensive. I think it might have to be a creature that could a copy creature. To what
The
extent, I don't know.
the issue also is Agatha's Cauldron only cares about creatures that are exiled by this specific instance of Agatha's Cauldron, and it's a legendary artifact, meaning that if you make another Agatha's Cauldron, you sacrifice the initial one and you lose the first effect that you exiled. So
Ooh.
you can't make a token copy of Agatha's Cauldron. You can't flicker Agatha's Cauldron. Can't do anything like that. You have to untap it.
Hmm.
So it is a finicky it is finicky chicanery.
Each enchantment deals 2 damage to its controller, then each enchantment enchanting a creature deals 2 damage to its creature it's enchanting. Or a barbs. We were just suggested Ether Flash, which is the 4 CMC enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, it does 2 damage to itself. That's not bad. I think that it's maybe a little too high costed because it's kind of trying to come down the same turn where we're playing out our commander, right?
Yeah, but
Um,
once we get it out, that's it. We don't need to do any more wipe effects if we don't want to.
True, and it is, and I was thinking it's quite good alongside our commander Hanks. Like it is quite good. So Crush the Weak is another one that's come about recently. I say recently, but Crush the Weak's 2 generic in a red. Crush the Weak deals 2 damage to each creature. If a creature dealt damage this way would die, exile it instead. That's actually quite good. That's really important for opposing docksides because, and even our own at a certain point, if we're not trying to combo with it, because getting rid of it as an option for a potential reanimate is really important. But in the what's more department, you can foretell this spell. So you can pay 2 generic to play it face down, cast it from exile later for 1 red. I think Crush the Weak is actually quite good for the deck.
Yeah, also I cannot believe I forgot about this. Brotherhood's End. That's the massive braid. Like it's 3 mana, deal 3 to all creatures, or 3 mana, destroy all artifacts that cost 3 or less.
3 mana, 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker, destroy all artifacts with mana value 3 or less.
It's really good.
It's
Hit
good.
on mana. Hit on mana rock, kill
Yeah,
zombies.
I'm gonna put Brotherhood, this one in the sideboard for now. I think it is good. I think it's really good. I think that there's one more 3 CMC one that I think is gonna contend with it. Let me see if I can find it for us before we agree on that one. Because I think the what's it called? I keep wanting to call it Convoke. That's not what it is. Crush the Weak, exile it, play it later. I'll look at it later. That's interesting. There's so many interesting spells in this category I've just not looked at before. Heaven and Earth, is this worth it? Nah. Well, if we do a self-mill thing, then it's worth it. Into the Fire is relatively new as well. Deals 2 damage to each creature, planeswalker in battle. So just a step further, but not 3 damage. Put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your library, then draw them any cards +1. Do you like Into the Fire at all?
I don't know. Hold on.
It's from uh what's it called?
Lord of the
Invasion?
Rings,
No,
right?
no, a March of
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
March of the
Uh,
Machines.
yeah, March of the Machines. If it was an instant, I would snap that up immediately.
There is
It's
an instant one though. I'm trying to find it. I'm trying
it's
to
not bad. Like I do like it due to the fact that you can just rotate your hand if you don't have a good hand, which is also really good with all of Tom's stuff.
yeah.
So it's kind of like it fits everything you want to do in this deck. I think that Into the Fire is good.
Right. There's an instant speed one though that I would like for us to play. There's volcanic fallout, but I don't mean volcanic fallout.
Oh, what's the thing called? There's like fire the cannons or something like that. That's deal 2 damage to all non-pirate creatures.
Foretell. Wait up. Here. I got it. Oracle foretell. Okay,
Yeah, fiery
delayed blast fireball. Sorry, this is what I was talking about though. What are you talking about?
fiery cannonade. This is one of my friend's favorite cards who said that if he could run 30 copies of fiery cannonade in a deck, he would.
Ooh, non-pirate creature.
It's just deal 2
Um,
to everything at instant speed. It's so dumb, but it's so funny.
it's not bad. There's this one though, delayed blast fireball. So for a generic and double red instant speed, delayed blast fireball does 2 damage to each opponent and each creature they control. If the spell was cast from exile, it deals 5 damage to each opponent and each creature they control instead. That's a little overkill. Its foretell cost is 4 in double red. I can't believe they made this rare.
Yeah,
It's kind of up there.
I think it's still good, just because it is an instant that hits only your opponent's stuff, so it can spare your board.
Thank you for the suggestion, Bloodblade. Wait, you like this though?
Yeah, I like it. Because it doesn't hit your own board, so if you want to try to set up some kind of weird combo thing, you can.
But does it stop Tivit? Okay,
Uh, if you pay the ward cost and then use Tom to ping Tivit as well, yes.
true. City of Solitude, Xantid Swarm. City of Solitude is a rule of law. Xantid Swarm is a silence effect attached to a creature. I think we're good on those. Sting is Sweet and Svella, by the way. I bet. Allosaurus Shepherd. Thank you for such good fun and content. Thank you, Blood. Love your streams. I appreciate that. Use Brash Taunter, too. Brash Taunter. So we could actually set up a Brash Taunter line, couldn't we? Deals damage. Whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. Is there a way we can set up a Brash Taunter line?
Um, there's the sword that says when this creature takes damage, it can do that much damage to any target, so you just have it do infinite damage to itself that way. That involves an artifact though. Like and you have to play Brash Taunter, get the equipment out, then equip the equipment, which has its own cost. I don't like it.
Yeah. No, I agree. So it's a little costly. I'll do delayed blast fireball on our sideboard as well. We can determine where those go in.
Yeah. I will say, if we want some kind of loop that we can do for what's it called? The survival of the fittest, we
Yeah,
could just do Goblin Engineer, Cloudstone Curio, Dockside Extortionist,
this is true. Cloudstone Curio. So if
and
we
do the
add
whole anger thing that you were talking about.
right. So Anger's in, Dockside is in. The only thing we need to incorporate is the Cloudstone Curio. So what's important here is that we're going to ultimately bounce once we have infinite mana. We're going to bounce one of our creatures. We can technically entomb our grinding station during all of this, but this isn't going to help us unless we have Underworld Breach out. But we could technically mill ourself entirely that way too. But with Survival of the Fittest out, we should be actually able to run into our Eternal Witness or Loamcrafter Fawn, or yeah, Loamcrafter Fawn, and then pull any solution we might mill out, or just pull into the solution. At that point, it could literally be a walking ballista, but I don't want to incorporate anything that's specifically there as an outlet in this list. I feel like this list needs to be more trim than that. So I'll have to get creative with what our win con is.
Yeah.
Does Stronic Resonator copy the zombie generation? Yes, it does, Midno, and I do want to add that.
What artifacts do we have?
So we should start considering again. I
Oh,
did a quick look.
I know the line, by the way.
Oh,
So the line, we already have a line for the survival of the fittest if we had Cloudstone Curio. So
mhm.
it's Anger Dockside Goblin Engineer. We entomb every artifact from our deck into our graveyard, use the infinite treasures to pay for Goblin Engineer and sack to Goblin Engineer to get all of our artifacts from our graveyard into play, including Grinding Station. Then we can use Grinding Station to put everything from our deck into our graveyard and then Ewit to return all to our hand. So it's a roundabout way, but we put our deck into our hand infinitely in the end.
It does work though.
Yeah, we already have a win there if we want to do that.
Oh, that's so goofy. Yeah, I mean, what is wait. So we grab I mean technically with like an instant speed spell and Eternal Witness, couldn't we just or it didn't even need to be instant speed. We could just bounce Eternal Witness and loop anything at that point.
Yep.
We don't
Lightning
have
bolt, like you name it, lightning bolt, any of our AoE damage spells that hits face as well, you name it.
right. Should we also so we should probably add Lightning Bolt. Let's
All right, lightning bolt, the braid, the works.
right. I want to look at I'm sorry, there's Mog Salvage I love.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
for
and I really like the replicate spell, Shattering Spree. I run it in a lot of these dual colored lists that incorporate red. I have him as a cEDH deck, and I play him with Blood Pods still. Are you referring to our legendary of choice tonight? Let me know. Oh, Cloudstone Goblin Engineer is clean, yeah, and it does work. It's important to note you can only bring back a 3 CMC or under, and that is exactly where Engineer sits. So, but you can entomb any artifact. So, like Will was saying, you could just bury the rest of your artifacts. We could bury the One Ring, but we're not able to pull it back with Goblin Engineer. But just based off the fact that we're making infinite mana, we can get you it if we want to go into the One Ring at this point. But that's a little, it's win less. So you don't really need to go there. But that's I think the only thing in the deck that we couldn't pull out with our Engineer. Let me just double check that I put the One Ring in. I would say that the One Ring kind of belongs in here as well as Sylvan Library.
agreed.
Oh, I should also put the what is it called? Name me the best Gruul spells.
Uh, force of vigor.
Deflecting Swat.
Yeah, deflecting swats in there as well.
I'm forget. It's the a song of Autumn Veil, something Veil.
Oh,
Not.
Autumn's Veil, Veil of Summers. Those are the two.
Are we running both? I think we kind of have to, don't we?
Yeah, yeah. Also the blasts, the red blasts.
Did those already? Did those already?
Okay, good.
Um,
Tibalt's trickery.
I did not put Tybalt's Trickery in. I like Tybalt's Trickery. Didn't it win? Oh, were we on stream when Tybalt's Trickery won me a game? Helped me win a game.
I, I don't know. I think
Vexing Shisher is being suggested as well as a Goblin Sharpshooter Splinter Twin line. That's potentially a thing we could do as well. Holy shit, does that mean we want Conspicuous Snoop and the 2-cost Goblin? You know, technically we could run our Goblin because we have the ability to draw the top card of our deck. Do we set up a Goblin Recruiter line?
so. We could we don't even need to draw the top card of our deck for Goblin Recruiter lines. We just need like some kind of haste generation, which the Torch Carrier can do. My issue with Conspicuous Snoop is you have to run a lot of dead cards to make the combo functional.
Yeah.
Because you need, yeah, and you sometimes need to wait a turn. So I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I do like Ragavan, the list, though. We incorporated it, as well as Carpet of Flowers, yes. Vexing Shisher, I'm going to avoid for now.
Yeah.
But Goblin Matron, maybe still worth it, because we are relying on a lot of goblins to make this work. Like, well, Dockside, namely, is going to just be good ramp, but also getting the Goblin Engineer early isn't the end of the world. The Goblin Matron.
I don't hate Matron. My only issue with Matron is that, like, for combo lines and that kind of thing, we want to find survival of the fittest more so than anything else if we wanted to go there. Or we'd want to go with Seeker of Skybreak or the Hanger Scrounger.
There's
So
no
I'm
good
not a fan.
Yeah, there's no good way to the survival, sadly.
Yeah.
Um,
Draw's the best that we have.
Rhythm of the Wild and Vitalize, I think, are being suggested as haste enablers.
Yeah.
Or
so.
not Vitalize, but Rhythm of the Wild, yes.
Vitalize is the untapper. Yeah.
Right. Let me see here. I love Goblin Matron. I would recommend her for a while. So good with Dockside. Yeah, I agree. Creature spells you control can't be countered. Non-token creatures you control have Riot, so they get +1/+1 or haste. What's funny though is that the +1/+1 counters are actually legitimate with Agatha's Cauldron.
Yeah.
Not that again we can get there that easily.
That's
Um,
funny. I want Agatha's Cauldron lines to get really dumb really fast, but I can't think of. We don't have a good artifact untap creature. Why the crap can't Wizards just give us an artifact creature that's a Voltaic key? Come on.
that would
Like
be
we have the two
so
mana guy
good.
that end step Voltaic keys, but we don't have one that activated
The
Voltaic keys.
voltaic servant, right? I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. Is there not? I mean, you want one that's specifically artifact based, though, is what you're saying.
I want a creature that can tap to untap Agatha's Cauldron, even if you have to pay a little bit of mana to do it. It just has to tap to untap Agatha's Cauldron in colorless. That's all I care about.
What is the name of that red artifact tutor? The new one, reckless handling.
Yeah, reckless
Sheesh.
handling.
Yeah, reckless handling goes in. I was only semi joking earlier when I suggested we use. Couldn't we do combos with Magda here? I'm sorry.
Potentially our commander doesn't make treasures, which is the only reason why I don't want to, but
No, I get
good.
that. I get that. I was just thinking the survival lines could be eased with Magda, couldn't it?
Yeah, because we just need to find Magda Dockside and then some way to play another creature to bounce everything again. So it's possible. Magda's just another goblin engineer at this point.
Yeah, more or less. I think that's it for like the new search effects. I don't think we're missing anything that's really good. I guess there's that.
We could run what's it called? The Huntsman thing.
Oh,
The new one.
the
Huntsman's
Huntsman's
Redemption.
Redemption.
Because it's wait a turn, then creature tutor, or basic land tutor.
Right. So Cirque Prospector is being recommended in Rising of the Day. I think Rising of the Day is a LOTR card as well. Creatures you control have haste. Legendary creatures you control get +1/+0. That's not a bad recommendation. And the Huntsman's Redemption's pretty decent. You may sacrifice a creature if you do search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put it in your hand. I want to look at the total deck right now and see what we're missing. So we're up to 95 cards. So there's a few things we need to add. But I want to see what this deck is lacking. So right now, so far as our... Sorry, I'm going to switch the art on this. We want that Masterpiece one from cEDH because that is what I'll be using.
I will say the best haste enabler that we can get in this deck is probably Anger, just because it's a creature that we can tutor and we can get it into the graveyard with our commander if we want, because we can just ping it. It is a 2/2.
Right. Play it, attack with it, kill it. Yeah,
Then
it's
all
not
your
bad.
stuff is haste. It's
Yeah,
it's probably the best haste enabler in the entire deck.
I agree. I like that there's a new type of card with battle. I keep forgetting that that's its own. It's not like an enchantment battle.
And to Skma's, Pilipala doesn't really do anything. It can do Agatha's Cauldron things, but the issue is we'd need to hit a creature that taps for more than one to make Pilipala worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So it could work. It will have a hard time working, but it could work.
So let's go ahead and look at what we've got here. So we've got Chrome Mox, Jeweled Lotus, Lotus Petal, Monocrypt, and Mox Diamond. We are missing Mox Opal, but we're only at 12 artifacts, so I wouldn't say that's enough.
Yeah. No Mox Opal,
Um,
no Mox Amber. I think that is correct.
right. We've got Mana Vault, Soul Ring. That's good to me. It's going to help us power out some spells. We've got Agatha's Soul Cauldron. I think this is just really good grave hate for us. Just at so far as the floor is concerned for this card, that's not bad.
It gets some random utility. It lets us turn it lets us turn some of our creatures into mana dorks. It lets us make something into Razaketh in the best case scenario. It's just a good card. I think it's worth running. Like between Scavenging Ooze and Agatha's Cauldron, it's Agatha's Cauldron, even though that we're in green.
We've got Grinding Station. So far as this card is concerned, it's really just there as a enabler for storming off with Underworld Breach, which is more than enough. Honestly, it could literally just come into play and sacrifice itself and mill someone's top deck tutor too. Like by the end of the day, that's for 2 mana. That's not so bad. Like if it comes down to it, Stronic Resonator is just for doubling down our commander's effect. We definitely want to do that, but it's any triggered ability you control. So we can do it with a handful of things. We're namely going to work with Hansk though on that. Cloudstone Curio, obviously there for the combos. It doesn't work with non-artifact permanents, so just bear that in mind. Everything else though, you can bounce to your heart's content. And there might be a good reason to do that. So that could be just a decent early play. The One Ring, self-explanatory. Invasion of Occurs, self-explanatory. Ragavan, again, these things are going to die. Tinderwall can stick around from a basic Clasm, because it's the 0/3. Ragavan will die though, and that's acceptable. It's just going to help us early game. And ultimately, it's just another card that can be used to survival of the fittest. Goblin Engineer, Dockside Extortionist, again, those are sort of core cards to our combo. So we want them. Dualcaster Mage has its own combo lines in the deck, and we can actually work on more Dualcaster lines if we want. But I don't know if we necessarily want. Got both Spirit... Oh, sorry?
Eternal Witness is also just a good recursion card and also part of the combo if we want to do the whole survival thing that I pitched. So
I like it.
Ewit's staying in no matter what.
Yeah, no, I think Ewit makes sense. And again, it's fine if she dies. We can always go for the Loamcrafter Fawn to bring her back.
Yep.
It would be amazing if Loamcrafter Fawn could bring back other lands and then you could sort of loop it, but she can't. Imperial Recruiter, Goblin Matron, just to find some of our core cards here. I think that Imperial Recruiter hits most everything. Like it'll find everything except for the Loamcrafter.
Yeah.
Right. Which is again fine, totally fine. Carpet of Flowers, Ramp, Utopia Sprawl, Wild Growth, Ramp. Spiteful Banditry is a really excellent form of mass removal. And we've got Survival of the Fittest lines. We've got Sylvan Library for draw. We're going to take all the damage. Underworld Breach, again, self-explanatory. We have a lot of interaction I enjoy and a lot of tutors. So guttural responses in here just because it's really good to help control the stack. I can't say it's good for much else beyond that. Lightning Bolts removal, Abrades removal, single target removal, but you get it. I think that's the only thing we can necessarily loop with Ewit, but could be wrong.
So it's Lightning Bolt, and we have another, the other thing, Ghostface, the AoE instant.
Oh, I did not put that in yet, but you're absolutely right. We should use Delayed Fire Blast.
Yeah.
We can use Delayed Fire Blast here. Also, I'm going to just jump out of here and put Bolt Bend in. There's another redirect we should use, and it is Bolt Bend.
Yeah.
As well as Ricochet Trap. Ricochet Trap is also good on the stack. I actually prefer that over Guttural Response, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, we can loop Reckless Handling with Ewit as well, because whenever we discard an artifact, we just return it to hand.
Oh my god,
Reckless
yeah.
Handling is another loop.
Yeah, that's so true. Do we really need Bolt in a Braid with all the sweepers? I think potentially Bolt. I can agree though on, well, I think that with all the sweep effects, you might have a point that we can probably nix one or two. I think that a Braid is the better option between those two, if not for an outlet for removing potential stacks from our opponents. It was suggested, I think Blood was saying that we can add a few silver bullets. We could jam some silver bullets. Yeah, I agree. I think that Seedborn Muse is powerful with him, says Beef Supreme. That's true. Oh, you know, that's really the last thing I wanted to look at with you. Untap effects. So I don't know. What do we got?
Seaboard Muse goes in there. I agree. Seaboard Muse is chill because it hits our lands, artifacts, everything, including our commander. So it's probably Seaboard Muse.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not quite the same as Thrasios, but let me put it on the side for now. I don't dislike it. I'll say that I think Sting is the mana to have for interaction is really good. I feel like Seedborn Muse is going to paint too much of a target on our head though.
I I don't really care if we get a target on our head though, because it's like, well, what are they gonna do? Stop us from wiping the board when we're drawing all the cards that we need to continue wiping the board?
Uh, yeah, we can add it to main board. We don't really have any stacks. I don't know what stacks we could actually add to this deck.
Uh, tor- I was gonna say Torp Orb, but we like ETBs in this
We do
deck.
want that. Yeah. Our interaction's gonna have to come by way of something else. Honestly, I don't know if it was mentioned jokingly, but bind does work in this deck. Oh, where is it?
Hmm.
Counter target activated ability. We can stop like activated wins. I want to counter triggered ability. We can look up counter spells in a second if we really want to. But so far as whoop, untapped commander is concerned, I was suggesting Sting earlier because it makes our commander a 5/5 with haste. Haste enabling is actually important late game, but it's also quite good if we just need something for the Goblin Engineer. So don't discredit the haste on here. At the beginning of each combat, equipped creature untaps. Super vital, really vital. It's almost like having pseudo vigilance. And then obviously having first strike against I guess orc armies is kind of nice, but those things get get really carried away really quickly, so it's not going to be saved from that. I think Sting definitely deserves a spot in the deck though.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let me see here. So I see Collector Oof is amazing. Yeah, it is. It does hell yes. Schmaz, never a joke, Patrick. Okay. Schmaz wants bind. I'm gonna put bind on the sideboard for now. I like that it's up there with abeyance for me. Like it's abeyance is a little bit better obviously because it's the situations in which it's applicable are far more, and then obviously it cantrips, you draw a card. Bind does hit a few things though, and it could stunt someone mid combo. But I need to have a think on what our other cards are going to be first. Are there any other mass untappers or untappers that we would want to roll with? So we've got Seedborn, Muse, and Sting.
I think those are the only ones we really need because Seaborn Muse is easy to find. Sting is just very powerful, so I think we only really need the two. Um, for stacks though, so I was thinking of Damping Sphere. Beef Supreme recommended it. I also agree with it. So Damping Sphere might be good just because it's anti-storm and anti-Gaia's Cradle and a bunch of other things that could be fed by your zombies. Root Maze is one I forgot about, but
It does hurt
yeah.
us. Yeah.
Well, Root Maze does hurt us, but it hurts our opponents much more because they're getting tapped zombies. I don't know if it hurts them much more, but still, Root Maze. Oh no, Root Maze hits sorry, it hits lands and artifacts, so it hurts our combo, but it hurts everything so much, and we do run a combo that does not require us to use artifacts, and that's our primary combo, the Seeker combo.
It's not in there right now though.
Oh, we're not running the Seeker hanger yet?
Only because it's not. I'm trying to think of a clean way to get there.
Any tutor.
Right, but it's slow. You know what I mean? My issue is that it's slow.
The deck is slow.
It also dies to what we're trying to do.
Yeah, but we can do a wipe, then play Seeker, and then try winning on the next turn. So like we can Seeker last, and that's function. That's functional.
Yeah. Hanger Scrounger, Seeker of Skybreak. I mean, I'm happy just having two win cons in the deck. Obviously, the detriment to having dual caster mage as the other combo line is the fact that you just need to luck into having the other card in hand, but we are drawing potentially gobs of cards, excuse me, turn after turn, so it's really not that difficult to imagine. I'm going to try it without the Seeker of Skybreak combo in there. I do want to consider some form of stacks or more interaction cards. If there's more coming to mind for you guys, let me know. I know Tybalt's Trickery was suggested on more than one occasion. It is in the deck. Stops channel lands. Stops channel lands.
Bind stops channel
Oh,
lands.
you know what? We didn't incorporate birthing pod. Is there a birthing pod play here?
Uh, we don't run stuff that untaps Birthing Pod. So
Cinder Vines is being
no.
suggested for helping to stop Storm.
What was being suggested?
Cinder Vines. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, Cinder Vines deals 1 damage to that player. You can also pay 1, sacrifice Cinder Vines, destroy target artifact or enchantment.
Um,
You know what I didn't add? I didn't add what's it called? Natural state or
oh yeah, Natural State and Nature's Claim.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
those are
those
good.
would be nice. Those are good Magic cards.
Yeah, I like natural state a little bit more. It hits everything that's relevant
Yeah,
personally. But Nature's Claim's great. It goes one more higher, so you could technically hit that one ring if it was destroyable.
indeed, indeed.
Birthing Pod, if you did Kiki Jiki, yeah. Doesn't Awakening until you give you a single untap per rotation. Seedborn gives 3. Doesn't Awakening until give you a single untap per rotation. Seedborn gives you 3, but it's big. Sniper. I do love Birthing Pod. I'm not sure the deck. Yeah. I mean, I like Birthing Pod with like Dryad Arbor and stuff. There's fun things you can do, but yeah, I think everyone liked Nature's Claim more. My point being, Natural State hits.
Everything relevant. It's
Honestly, yeah,
they are
everything.
functionally the exact same card. It's just that it will hit like that one weird stacks piece. That's pretty much the only difference.
Oh, there was a suggestion of Rending Volley.
Um,
I mean,
yeah, that
technically, we could do Witch Stalker Frenzy here.
yeah, but Rending Volley's better. don't. I'm slightly against the target removal for kind of all the reasons that we said before, because in theory, a board wipe and Tom is enough to kill anything.
Right.
So I don't think we need Rending Volley only for that reason. I think that, and it's the same reason why we might not run Bolt and a Braid and all that.
Yeah. Deglamer, choose target artifact or enchantment. Its owner shuffles it into his or her library. There's Deglamer. There's another one that makes them shuffle. Wait up.
I do also want to say it's D Glamour.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, because the if I remember correctly, it's turning shiny things into crappy looking things.
The more pleasant an illusion's garb, the more indecent its form laid bare.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a glamour is a spell to make something look nice.
Unravel. It's Unravel the Ethers, the other one I was thinking of. Choose target artifact or enchantment. Its owner shuffles it into his or her library. Same story. That's actually not a bad idea.
Um, yeah, I don't hate it. My only issue is just I don't think we need to run it specifically despite the One Ring.
Mm-hmm. No, 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 no. Um, Not necessarily. No. Tangle Wire. Tangle Wire is interesting
Tangle
stacks.
Wire is awful for the deck because we're giving people tokens that they can tap to Tangle Wire.
Yeah, that is true. So
I
we
I was almost on the Tangle Wire train. That is what killed it for me.
Sphere of Resistance. Abiseju is definitely in. We're technically 102 cards right now. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else we want to include before we start making cuts. The Goblin that gives a 0/1 that deals a point. The Goblin that gives zero
Oh,
ones.
the goblin that gives people the like goblin bomb things. No, I don't think we need that.
Oh,
It gives people
ooh,
token.
wait. Goblin, oh, this is one of my favorite tech cards. Wait up. Goblin Crater Maker. You don't see him that often anymore, but you can sacrifice Goblin Crater Maker and pay 1, and it does 2 damage to target creature or destroys a colorless non-land permanent. Actually really like this card. It's not
We don't need it. We don't need it.
no, no, you don't need it. Quirion Ranger. Quirion Ranger, you say?
Nah. The
Return a
range.
forest untap target creature. You don't like the it's technically ramp if you want to look at it that way.
I understand. It just isn't that good when we're not running a ton of creatures. Like we're running creatures, but we're running creatures more so for the sake of comboing off than anything else.
Reap is being suggested.
Reap is a very cool card. I don't think we need it. I think the Loam Crafter is just better Reap in this situation. I would probably run Shigeki over Reap in my opinion.
Just because it's a searchable one.
Yeah,
The Jukai Visionary.
Reap is a good card though because people are running more and more black cards, so Reap is actually
Oh,
pretty good.
are any of our tutorable creatures legendary? No, right?
No, no, they are not.
The only other tutor I can think of that we didn't do is
Tutor
Signal.
legendary creature.
No, Signal the Clans, not the Bell one. Signal the Clans. Search a library for 3 creatures, reveal them. They have to have different names. Choose one at random. Put that card into your hand, and shuffle the rest into your library.
We could run Weird Harvest if we want.
Oh, that's true. It's a little tricky though, because you are giving your opponents things, but
Yeah.
let me see here. Yisan Wandering Bard. Rampaging Pharacedon could be good. Quest for Renewal for untaps. Oh,
Yeah,
hey!
Seaborn Muse enchant.
Whenever a creature you control becomes tapped, you may put quest on it. 4 or more quest counters. Untap all creatures during a... Yeah, so hold on. What are the other quests? Are there ones that require us to kill creatures in these colors?
No, but there's ones that say do damage, I believe. Or it might
Whenever a
be
source you
the
control deals damage to an opponent. Not that one. Whenever your creature deals combat damage to a creature, no. Whenever a goblin enters the battlefield under your control, no. Well,
Hey, we get goblins.
yeah, but I mean, no. Questing Druid. Seek the Beast. Exile the top 2 cards of your library until at the end of your next end step. You may play those cards. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm seeking the Beast. Whenever you cast a spell that's white, blue, black, or red, put a 1/1 counter on Questing Druid. That's cute. Sorry, I'm trying to think of like what benefits us for creating zombies and doing damage to things. Compost is being suggested. Compost is actually kind of cool. It's really cool with wheels. But whenever a black card is put into an opponent's graveyard, you may draw a card. It's a draw utility.
Yeah, compost. So for anyone who might be thinking this, no, compost does not draw if you kill a zombie token because it's the tokens are not considered cards.
Are you sure
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, I'm 100% sure about that. It's still a very cool card, but that's
Ooh.
it would have been a fun double up draw effect, but
Well, is there a benefit for putting is there a benefit effect for putting creatures in the graveyard for us at all? Whenever
uh, I think only in black.
oh, we'll find out. Whenever a land is put into a graveyard, no. Here, I promise, we're going to make cuts and test this deck soon. There's a lot of ideas coming out, by the way, right now. I just looked up Awakening. It's sketchy tech. You're just giving everyone their counterspell mana back up. Yeah. Compost does not work because tokens are not cards. Thank you for the clarity. Quest for the Pure Flame. Interesting. Blood Chief Ascension. There is. Give me a minute, Pat. Oh, thanks. Thank you. I mean, just by and by, Compost is not a bad card, though. I that would have been amazing if we were generating the things to give us the draw.
Yeah, that would be crazy. That would be insane. But yeah, it's not that bad, or it's not that crazy.
How about Fecundity? Whenever a creature dies,
Its controller draws a card. You give people those card draw. Let's
we're
go.
neither the controller or the owner, are we?
Nope.
Nature's Chosen is 0 cost activate untap effect. Oh, you know what? I actually like this suggestion quite a bit. There's 2 that do this. There's the Touch of Vigor, touch of vitality. What is it? There's two that do this. They're both
Instill
small.
energy.
Instill energy. Thank you. And nature's chosen. So nature's chosen. Enchant a creature you control, and you can untap enchant a creature. Activate this only during activate during your turn and only once each turn. Then there's
Instill energy is pay 0, untap enchanted creature, only activate during your turn and only once each turn. Enchanted creature can attack as though it has haste.
mhm. I actually like the other one a little bit more, Instill energy. This one's more of a activate if the enchanted creature is white. That's less relevant to us. This one's actually quite good though. Enchanted creature has haste. Oh, I think they've. So this has been eroded doubly. Enchanted creature can attack as though it had haste. Well,
Yes, that is the final ruling for it.
honestly, that's not bad. Do you like
We're never
Instill?
using that. It's just there for the untap. We're never attacking with Tom.
Did they suggest Tabernacle yet? Raise. We have not suggested Tabernacle of Pendril Vale.
That's not bad. I actually like that.
That's actually really good.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, how much do they cost? Just a
They're
mere.
like 1,000, some kind of
Oh
thousand.
no, $2,333.32.
Yeah.
Oh, I like how it's what is that? What is it saying backwards as it is forwards? Like what is it when the word is the same forwards as it is backwards?
Oh, palindrome.
Palindrome. I was gonna say onomatopoeia. That's not what it is.
What is an onomatopoeia is the starting music before the music starts.
We're
No, is that no, that's an anacrasis or something like that.
we're gonna put Tabernacle in. Is there another Tabernacle type card? Let me know.
Only in white.
Only in white. Okay. They did errata it, yes. Aspect of the mongoose. Natural order. Natural order, you say? Natural order only finds a green creature, though, right? I feel like I pulled a cool looking one. I know I have this one.
There's only one proper art for natural order, in my opinion. I can't remember if I've told you about it, Patrick.
Oh, the green man?
The portal one, yeah.
Yeah, the.
Yes, it's the natural order because we know what's happening on that art.
Palindrome. It's weird how saying sentences backwards creates backwards sentences saying how weird it is. It's true. It's true. Aspect of the mongoose. Natural order though what green creature are we finding? Technically.
Seedborn Muse.
Oh, jeez.
Primarily Seedborn Muse.
So is natural order worth it?
No.
Okay. Just confirming. Because
Yeah.
in this deck, the Sylvan tutor is kind of just gonna do the same thing, I suppose, for us. Okay, so I think it's time to cut some cards. And I think we're gonna start with either Lightning Bolt or a Brade. Do you have a preference here?
We can kill Bolt. Abrade has a little bit more utility. I'm usually a Bolt stan, but it can die here.
How do you feel about Guttural Response? Instant speed, blue spell.
I think we already have enough blue interaction, and we have better ones.
But if you were gonna Chrome Mox any one card, is Guttural Response not the best option?
It's true, but you don't need to have your Chrome Mox tap for everything. You just need
No.
to tap for a color.
No, I like everything though. Okay, so we've got Turn Timber Symbiosis, Crush the Weak. Is Crush the Weak? Okay, what would you prefer? By the way, Crush the Weak, Into the Fire, or Brotherhood's End. So Crush the Weak, just to reintroduce these cards. It's 2 damage to each creature. Creatures that die this way are exiled instead. I think that's gas. Into the Fire is 2 generic and red, same cost. Does 2 damage to each creature, planeswalker in battle. We have a battle in this deck. Or you can put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your library, then draw that many cards +1. That's really good. The +1 aspect of this card is so good. And then there's Brotherhood's End. Deals 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker, or destroy all artifacts with mana value 3 or less. Or do
Now,
we run 2? Or do we run 2? Sorry.
now, although I'm a big fan of Crush the Weak, as it is the best motivational message on a Magic the Gathering card for card name. You gotta
Right.
crush the weak, my dudes.
Yeah.
It's probably the weakest out of all three.
Oh, you know what? It doesn't trigger our commander.
Yeah,
The
correct.
exile is
That's
a
correct.
replacement effect. So
Yep.
I'm with you there. I feel like Into the Fire might be the better option just for siphoning hand, but I
Yeah.
do like destroying all artifacts. I really don't dislike Brotherhood's Ends. Ooh, they're both good modal spells. Do you guys have a? Okay, actually, I'm gonna ask the audience here. Do we? Oh, hey, you know what? It's not gonna let me do that because there's a current poll. So apparently, audience thinks. I'll let you guys know in a second. Into the Fire, or do we Brotherhood's End, or both? 51% say that red is the better color within Gruul. Which is the better part of Gruul? Red, 51%, green, 48%, with 35 votes.
And then 1% says blue.
Yeah, 1% says blue. Brotherhood's End is great. Feelings on Meltdown, Ken? I love Meltdown. I really love Meltdown. And we don't use that many artifacts, so to be honest, we could actually run Meltdown.
Artifacts aren't too common in the current meta other than rocks, though. So Brotherhood's
Yeah.
End's just kind of better meltdown right now.
Yeah. Sorry, remind me what they do. Oh, Bloodblade, they're right here.
Um,
They're both doing the same thing. They're modal and they can do pyroclasm.
yep, so Brotherhood's End is 3 to all creatures or destroy all artifacts. Sorry, 3 to all creatures and planeswalkers, and then destroy all artifacts that cost 3 or less, and then Into the Fire is 2 damage to all creatures, or creatures, planeswalkers, and battles, or shuffle your hand to your library and then draw that many cards +1.
Okay, so let me see here. When you're tapping for 3, you're either aiming to play an instant, wipe, or 2 damage, or sorcery speed for 3 damage. Yeah, that's what I said. It's like lukewarm. Green is weakest. Yeah, yeah. It does draw cards, which is important. I would say it's still good to have as a way to stop the ever-present Tivit. Oh, meltdown for. Well, we've got a broad A here. We've got a broad A.
Well, we also will probably have Brotherhood's End to deal with Tivit as well, because it just nukes everything on Tivit's
You
board.
just mean nuking
Meltdown.
the clues and the treasures and
Yeah, if
right.
if if Meltdown is as an answer, then Brotherhood's End's the exact same answer.
Wow. Okay, so we all kind of agree that Brotherhood's End is just the better option between the two.
Yeah.
All right, I mean, I'm going to end this poll now. I want to get us testing this deck. So let's go ahead and just add Brotherhood's End. And I think that's 100 because I had to cut a land for Tabernacle. We're technically on 29 lands. Grove of the Burn Willows we can still place in here. So maybe we take out one mountain and put Grove of the Burn Willows in and just have an
Yeah.
even split 3-3. It's really not that far off with symbols here. It's a 9 symbol difference, but we've got so much rainbow mana that I feel pretty safe here. Okay, let's go.
To raise repercussions as a win con is a very funny idea, and I do respect that because I've run mono red burn before. Repercussions is just fantastic if you're running any kind of AoE and giving opponents tokens.
Repercussion. Whenever a creature is dealt damage, repercussion deals that much damage to that creature's controller.
It's
Ooh.
funny. It's funny.
Is there an artifact with similar effect?
Nope. I wish. Repercussions is the unique card effect in red. Like it's you are not going to find repercussions anywhere else other than the actual enchant.
What do you guys think? Do you like repercussion here? I mean, we could. There's no like on the fly win I can think of with repercussion. It's kind of cool though. And lastly, did we want to try finding a slot for Ether Flash?
I think we can try it as is for now because if we need more wipes then we can run Ether Flash.
Okay. I'm fine with that. So we've got Whip Flare. We've got, so our first starting hand, we have Whip Flare, Delayed Fire Blast, or Delayed Blast Fireball. I'm never going to get that right. Pyretic Ritual, Veil of Summer, with some amazing art with Tamio. I didn't know that existed. One land, Natural State, and a Ragavan. I think this is obviously going to convert into Ragavan, and then next turn with the treasure, if we get our land drop, we could technically play out our commander. So it's a turn two commander.
We can also turn. No, yeah, never mind. I'm being dumb. Yeah. It's as you said.
I'm sorry, that wouldn't be. I'm curious as to whether we pull the land. So we would draw that per turn. We'll do Bloodstained Mire, and I'll go ahead and get our Taiga. Play the Taiga, play the Ragavan. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. I just want to see if we get to our commander this turn. So no. We would attack someone, we would get a treasure token, right? Let's just pretend we got their Mana Crypt. We got their Mana Crypt. How crazy is that? With our Ragavan, we'll cast the Mana Crypt. We still don't... do we have the mana to do this now? Yeah, we've got the mana to do this now. Right, we'll tap here. We'll break this. Play this. And we'll play Hanks. Is that good with everyone? Okay, so we got the Hanks. Next turn. Right, am I missing anything? Cool, okay. So we've still got that Mana Crypt, which we all know. It just found its way into my hand. I think this is a clear Whip Flare turn, if not a Pyretic Ritual into Delayed Blast Fireball. Let's just do that. Let's do Pyretic Ritual. I'm going to float a generic. I have one red floating after this. We'll kill all the zombies and anything else that's still there. We still have a red, I said. Let's just say that we have to use the Pyroblast to defend the Delayed Blast Fireball. Someone doesn't want to lose their Timna or something. It's fine. So what happens? We'll draw 3 cards. Bound our lands. We'll play the Verdant Catacombs to make sure we don't discard down. There's nothing we would really want on our graveyard here. We will attack now. Actually, this is good for us because we want the treasure and we've cleared up any blockers. It's important to note that the Delayed Blast Fireball is only your opponent's creatures, so Ragavan would stick. We'll create a treasure off of Ragavan. We'll exile another Mana Crypt. No. We're going to go ahead and break this and we'll find our shock land. It's Stomping Grounds, I believe, for these colors. We'll lose life. Obviously, I'm not going to track that. Okay. I will do Sylvan Library, though. Right. Cool. So we're keeping a pretty flush hand. This is Magical Dreamland, though. We're in a vacuum. Obviously, the not hitting our land drop early did put us off realistic play, but this isn't so bad. Going into our next turn, we're going to want to go draw, draw, draw. Okay, so we're going to keep all of these, right? And then we also want to go ahead and nuke the board and draw 3 more, right? To give us the best options. Although right now, do we have a reckless handling play? Not really. What we need, and this is only artifacts, sadly. So what we really need is like a gamble. I'm not sure what the best play here is for us outside of just nuking the board and drawing cards to find more solutions. Survival of the Fittest is going to be costly. So we could just go for the attack here if we want. Let's say that we do have an option to hit. We get a treasure. I'm ignoring the exile card for now. We've got 4 generic, 2 colored, and then a treasure. Do we... I mean, going for the Cloudstone Curio doesn't really do much for us right now, but we could. I honestly think we just hit the board with one of these 2 Clasms.
Yeah. Agreed.
Sadly. Okay, so we'll do Whip Flare. I will use the treasure here just because Ragavan will die in this instance, and we'll draw 3 cards.
Goodbye, also, monkey. You did your job well.
He did. We're going to use Hanks to just hit something, kill something that had more life than that. Anger's going to get discarded momentarily. I don't mind seeing that. We do have a generic floating from the copied mana crypt. I think that we could probably go for our grinding station and float a generic, and then we can just wild growth onto one land or the other and hold mana. The held mana is going to be useful for, not right now, but it would be really cool for just like a Tybalt's Trickery or some form of interaction. I just want to make sure that we have one card over in hand to make sure that we can discard the Anger. So we're going to do Stomping Grounds, Wild Growth onto the Taiga. And technically, this would be a good time to lay down any stacks, but we're not running with any, and maybe we should. All we really can do is mill someone if they go for a top deck tutor. And we could technically go for Reckless Handling here, but I don't want to because I kind of want to discard Anger. So let's just hold. We've got 2 instant speed spells here with Veil of Summer and Natural State, so there's that. Discard the Anger. Everything's going to have haste from here on out, and then next turn we'll draw. I'm going to lose the life from that. Stronic Resonator would be really sweet to have, but we had Grinding Station instead. Hansk gives us 3 more bodies to nuke, and we just keep hitting our Clasms. So we've got Spiteful Banditry here and Pyroclasm. So one thing I can say about this deck right now is the fact that we're not deficient in hand, and it's the 2 cards helping us really, the Sylvan Library and the Honks, but we're not getting anywhere we need to be. So I would dig a little bit further with Pyroclasm, but there isn't really a great find with Reckless Handling outside of the 1 ring, which is just more draw. What do you think, Will? Do you want to just start up a new game, try to find a hand that gets us a win, or at least gets us a play line?
Because most of our hands were either trying to find survival of the fittest or like a significant enough amount of creature tutors. This is also part of the reason why I wanted Seeker of Skybreak and the hanger, just because if we get enough creature tutors, we win. So that it's like a safer line. It's
we haven't
slower,
seen a single creature tutor. Yeah, we haven't seen a single creature tutor yet, which is the crazy part.
We're running literally all of them.
Here's what I'm going to say. I think that we're going to go ahead. We did not add a Goblin Sharpshooter here, although I can understand why folks would want that combo in the list. Maybe we do add Goblin Sharpshooter line.
Only reason why I don't like it is because Splinter Twin is hard to find.
Yeah, it doesn't really operate without that either, does it? I mean, nope. I guess Kiki Jiki?
Kiki Jiki is probably the safest line just because it's hasty. Like, it comes out immediately. So, if we want to run a line that wasn't Seeker, because its Seeker's too slow, it would be Kiki Jiki. Because Kiki Jiki is just an immediate win. So, if you don't want to do the Hanger Scrounger combo, it's Kiki.
Snoops. In my testing, Snoopless Daryl is that there isn't many good avenues of closing out the game that aren't Kiki related or dual caster. A Snoopless Daryl. We could add a Snoop line in here if we really want to close out the game, because Goblin Recruiter sets that whole thing up, though. Am I mistaken?
Yeah.
Let's
Snoop could also be good. The only reason why I don't like the Snoop lines is it bogs up your deck too much, because it's like you need like 5 or 6 cards in the deck for the combo specifically.
I'm just gonna tutor up the 1 ring. I'm gonna play this out as it is. I'll roll a D10. Wait, here. Let's do that. Let's. That would have made me discard the 1 ring. Let's just say we did. So someone takes damage for that, right? Yeah, that's fine.
I think it's each opponent takes 2.
Yeah, cool. We've got a generic floating. We still got a generic floating. I'm putting Stronic Resonator on the battlefield. And I'll go ahead and use Pyroclasm with the Stomping Grounds. Draw 3 cards. Cool. And we've got Dual Caster Mage now.
Really quick, what are we talking about Seeker of Skybreak being slow? We run Anger specifically to fix that.
It's more or less the same thing though, right? Like we would want to do the survival line for Anger to Grave. Yeah, let's jump back up. I want to take a quick look at this before we continue playtesting it. I definitely understand not playing Snoop. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Is it a
Snoop is great.
necessary? Is it a necessary evil though?
Snoop is great if you're running a Goblin Tribal deck, which there's like a couple cEDH Goblin Tribal decks that actually function.
I forget the play line. You do Goblin Recruiter. You play Snoop. Snoop lets you play the top card of your library. It's
Yeah, it's a Goblin Recruiter, put Snoop on top, draw Snoop, play Snoop, Torch Carrier on top, play it for red, and then you sacrifice it, give Snoop haste, make infinite copies of Snoop with the Kiki effect on top, tap it, copy Goblin Recruiter. Goblin Recruiter puts Mog Diver or whatever its name is, Mog Fanatic into play,
mm.
or Mog Fanatic on top, and then you sacrifice all the Snoops for infinite damage.
All right. People are Bloodblade's not wrong with Kiki having good synergy with like the rest of the deck. It's not necessarily bad.
Okay.
I almost feel like we go the Snoop route and cut some things. Is that crazy?
So we need Goblin Matron probably just as another tutor. Then
Well,
it's Goblin
Matron's already
Recruiter.
in here. Yeah, Matron's
Oh,
already in
okay.
here.
Then it's Goblin Recruiter, Torch Carrier, Conspicuous Snoop, Kiki Jiki, and then any outlet thing. And then we can also put in Skirk Prospector if we want to make the line a little bit easier.
This is weird. All these things get nuked early. You can use Pashlik Mons and Goblin Sharpshooter as replacement for Mog Fanatics.
Yep.
Do you have a preference here?
You cannot use Goblin Sharpshooter for it, but you can use Mons. Actually, can't use Goblin
Ooh.
Mons.
Have you seen this Pashlik Mons? Oh, this old school
I think
one.
I have.
This Dave Kendall one is
Yeah.
amazing. Whenever Pashlik Mons or another goblin you control dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. That works.
So you can use Goblin Sharpshooter and Shalak Mons if you do Skirk Prospector in the loop. So that is true. You can do it if you add Skirk Prospector to the loop, because then you can sacrifice all of your Snoop tokens to trigger Shalak Mons. Or you can do the same thing, triggering Goblin Sharpshooter infinite times, as long as you can give Goblin Sharpshooter haste.
What is the search library legendary?
For what?
Does this help us set up anything? The time of need. Search your library for a legendary creature, reveal it, put it into your hand,
Oh,
then shuffle your library. I mean, just finding Kiki Jiki isn't the worst thing in the world.
yeah. But we also probably want to add Combat Celebrant just because it's a Kiki Jiki infinite card. It's also a Daryl untapper for one use, since every other turn it untaps Daryl.
Right. It is a 4/1 though.
Yeah, it feels bad, but it's an insta-win with Kiki. No setup required.
I mean, there's a couple insta wins with Kiki, right? You could do they all suck.
Zealous Conscript, or oh, sorry, Hyrex Tower Scout's the better one because we're
Yeah.
in green. Because that's a 3/3 and untaps Daryl on ETB.
Is it a 3/3 though?
Yeah, it is.
How do you spell that?
Hyrex.
Hyrex Tower Scouts. Yeah, Combat Celebrant I recommend earlier is insane. Combat Celebrant is good. I just don't like that it's a 4/1. I kind of want bodies to last. The Snoop. Oh, I didn't even add Snoop.
We're doing Snoop combos without Snoop, boys.
Yeah, that's how it works. Tower Scout is way less fetchable. Tower Scout is way less fetchable. Oh, just by virtue of the fact that
Well, it's a green creature, so by that virtue, it's also a little bit more fetchable.
right with Green Sun Zenith, and technically, is there a green creature we would want a Green Sun Zenith now, or not Green Sun Zenith? The you know what I'm talking about, the sorcery speed one. Natural order. Nah, there's not. We probably take Seedborn Muse out, by the way.
Yeah, it's greedy.
Yeah. Okay.
We have enough pyroclasm effects.
Sad matron. Okay, we've got 6 cards to cut. I think this is the right route. I almost feel like Dual Caster is still good interaction, but I'm not sure I'm gonna mainline it as much.
Yeah, especially considering that we have a more consistent one card win because any creature tutor into Goblin Recruiter can just end the game if we have enough mana. So I like just going for that as our primary win con if we're gonna go for that.
I'm going to stick with 28 lands and cut turn Timber Symbiosis for now. I might want to fork a ad nauseum, if you feel me. And I would rather not hit a 7-cost spell in this list.
We can also probably take out Sting from this deck.
Yeah, as much as I like it, I feel like it's probably not necessary. And I feel like Stronic Resonator is only good early.
Yeah, agreed.
It feels a little win more. I think drawing 3 cards is reward enough. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Seedborn Muse, I said we can cut, and we need to cut 2 more cards. So this is where it gets difficult. Is Agatha's Soul Cauldron?
We can cut it. We're trying to play a bit faster now. Agatha's Soul Cauldron is better for control game plan. We're not playing control at all anymore.
I still think the One Ring, all this stuff.
Yeah, we
makes sense.
still play the One Ring because if we fizzle, the One Ring saves us.
It's either that or Sylvan Library, right? And I could see myself using Goblin Engineer and Eternal Witness to bring back the One Ring to hand. Like, that's not a far-flung idea. I think Noxious Revival also is going to be used in those same instances. Let's see here. I like everything else in this list.
Maybe we get rid of... Oh, wait, did you already get rid of Dualcaster Mage?
I didn't, but I like Dualcaster Mage still. I think we can narrow down the combo to maybe just 1 card. So cut Heat Shimmer, keep Twin Flame.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, so like if I see Twin Flame in hand, mind you, Heat Shimmer hits any creature, right?
Yeah.
What's better? Would you rather have Heat Shimmer or Twin Flame?
Twin Flame, just because it's less mana intensive.
Right, and I still think we can use Dualcaster Mage as just a decent card.
Do we cut Anger?
I still think those lines exist in the deck, though. I would still want to do... Does having Anger not help this combo? Am I mistaken? Like, don't we need a Conspicuous Snape to be hasty?
Yes, but that's why we have Torch Carrier.
I did not add Torch Carrier.
Oh, we need Torch Carrier.
I still second Reap because it's really nutty in this specific deck.
Oh yeah, because we're giving our opponents black zombies. That's yeah, that's fair. Reap is we can probably take out the Loam Crafter for Reap.
Return up to X target cards from your graveyard to your hand, where X is the number of black permanents target opponent controls as you cast the spell. I'm sorry, you want to use... I'm sorry, I agree with you. I forgot the wording on Reap, but we can add Reap.
Yeah, I forgot that the zombie tokens were black. That is good. I agree.
So weird. I'm sorry. So we're gonna add Reap. We're also gonna add the Torch Courier.
Yeah,
is Torch Courier the only option in this regard?
It's the best option. We can also use any goblin that just says your goblins have haste, but Torch Carrier is just the universally best one.
Right.
Just because it's cheap.
We do have Bolt Bend in the list, Ken, for sure. That's a good option. Let's go ahead and cut 2 more cards. What do you want to cut? Well, do you just want to cut Dualcaster line?
We can cut Manamorphose.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Anything else we need to cut?
Ooh.
Like what's our numbers? I should ask. Like how many cards?
We need to cut 1 more.
I think Shattering Spree can probably go.
I still like it as a tempo card, honestly.
Yeah, it's just red intensive. That's the only reason why I'm not the biggest fan of it. Maybe Eldritch Evolution can go. Because we're not going to have a lot of creatures in play a lot of the time.
Right. Other than Hanks. And Hanks could go right into Kiki Jiki. Is Eldritch Evolution still good enough, though? I feel like converting Ragavan into Hyrix Tower Scout is still good enough. Because these things are going to die anyways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did I put Time of Need in the list? I guess we don't need it necessarily. But there's only 2 legendaries we would want to find. Loam Crafter Fawn? Is it doing enough for you?
Oh, I said we can remove Loam Crafter for Reap.
Oh, okay. Well, that didn't happen. We're good now.
There we go.
Okay. All right. Well, let's test this a few times now. So we still have the play line with Survival of the Fittest, and now we have Conspicuous Snoop. So there's 2 play lines in the deck. However, Conspicuous Snoop takes up a lot of the deck. Can't say it's my favorite, but it's necessary. However, if another 2-card creature combo avails itself that's just better, I think we should probably switch to that and open up some spots.
Well,
this is keepable.
Turn 1, Tom.
Yeah, with Whip Flare. So yeah, we're gonna keep this. Yeah, I mean, I see the Mana Vault, and we're not going to do anything with it, though. We'll go ahead and just play out Hanks, and we'll pass. Did I draw for turn? I did draw for turn. Okay. There's Survival. Next turn. We do not have mana. This is the second time. I always get land fucked. I know people like the idea of 25 lands, but this shit happens. We're going to use Honks to just kill a zombie to draw a card. Thank you. Never punished. So we could technically Whip Flare right here, or we could just drop Survival of the Fittest. What would you prefer?
We drop Survival. We can Whip Flare to draw 5 next turn.
Yeah, I don't feel bad about that at all. Okay. Survival of the Fittest on the stack. Is it good? Sweet. All right. We're going to spread the love. Someone else gets the zombies this time. So now you all have blockers. We could technically just use Honks to see if we get a better land off the top. But I mean, I say better. I want a green resource. Ragavan is strictly discard fodder at this point. I want Ragavan for Survival of the Fittest. And Survival of the Fittest is going to go into Anger, is going to go into... Ooh. We need to do Survival of the Fittest, Anger into Goblin Engineer. Correct? Just that? We kind of want Dockside. Yeah. We kind of want Dockside in hand. We need to... We'll have to bounce... we would have to bounce Honks to start this combo.
Yeah, we need another creature. Is it? We just need another creature to do the combo.
Right. I think that we're going to get it by drawing here. I kind of want to play out more of my hand before I do this, though. So
I like using Survival of the Fittest just to find Goblin Recruiter more than anything else, just because it's something we can do at instant speed if we really want to.
You don't want to draw off Whip Flare right now?
We can draw off of Whip Flare, but it's just using Survival to find Goblin Recruiter is just kind of the correct thing to do. Eventually.
Right. So, let me just do this then. Let me just go ahead and draw a card. I just want to see if I get a better solution here. I did not. I'll cast the Whip Flare.
So four more.
Yeah, burn the board. 1, 2, 3, 4. No lands. All right, we'll put the mountain down. We have 2 creatures technically here. And we have Underworld Breach. That's amazing.
I also would have played the mountain just because we need the green for survival.
Yeah, I know. Now that I'm thinking about it. We could say we did that just for sequencing's sake. Okay, so we're gonna discard some cards down. What do we not need from this hand? Well, Goblin Engineer is a really good setup here, but it's also just a body for survival. Body for survival. That's Underworld Breach. I do want Sylvan Library. Bulk Bend is good.
At least.
Deflecting SWAT. And I would say Veil of Summer. I mean, Mana Vault is good, but it's not really helping us here.
Yeah.
If I did go for Underworld Breach, by the way, I would probably just go for Grinding Station off of Goblin Engineer, and then I would be able to crack the Mana Vault. So logically, I think the best solution is this. Let's get rid of that. We'll keep these.
Yeah.
Is that crazy? Yeah, that's fine. Cool. So we're going to fuel our Breach for next turn. Breach is probably the best solution now. Am I wrong?
I still think it's probably
Yeah,
let's see. So the next turn requires us, if we wanted to do the Goblin line, it would be Recruiter for 2 mana, then Conspicuous Snoop for 2 mana, and then uh draw off of Honks, and then Skirk Prospector off the top. Hmm.
So here's my thing. I'm just going to do survival for Dockside. And I would say that around, what is this, turn 4 we're going into, we're going to get a lot of treasures off of this. This is going to fuel not only Grinding Station, but give us mana requisite to cast Veil of Summer, Bolt Bend. Obviously, this is free.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like just going Dockside and then setting up the combo here is best.
Is it best if we do...
Oh, we need Anger
find
still.
Anger? Yeah, I was going to say, is it better to find Anger and then on your upkeep discard Anger to find Dockside?
Right. Well, I mean, technically, if we just cast Underworld Breach, we could just play it, but we only have 6 cards in deck, and graveyard, excuse me. No, let's do, you're right. I think I jumped the gun here. We were going to get Dockside anyways, but let's go ahead and find Anger first.
Yeah, we're just gonna have like 1 less mana on our turn. We tap the
right. So untap, upkeep. Let's just go ahead and do either one of these. Yeah, we'll discard the Anger, and then we'll find Dockside Extortionist. Shuffle, and we'll draw for turn. Not only that, our opponents also get a set of lovely zombies. So
yep. We have 1 land tapped, and we got 2 mana to play with outside of that. So now we draw for turn, see what we get, and Jiki. Sag.
So we need to ship the Dockside and hit, just make sure this hits.
Yeah. Right. So we could do Mountain into Mana Vault and then play Dockside then with 2 colorless floating. Just because that doesn't give us any kind of negative impact.
No, I agree. We've got 2 generic floating. Let's just do Dockside Extortionist. Let's just say we had to use Deflecting Swat to protect this. So it happens. How many treasures do you think we get by turn 4?
We'd get a good amount.
Let's just say that we get at least 6.
Yeah.
At least 6. We've got 2 generic floating. It's turn 4. Can we win the game here? I'd like to think so. Technically, Kiki-Jiki is free, by the way.
Oh yeah, we can play Kiki, tap it for Dockside copies. So we'd go down to 5 treasures to... Actually, Kiki's a net 1, technically.
Right, but I'm gonna use that treasure to discard the Goblin Engineer to get my Hyrix Tower Scout. I mean, okay, so we've got so many different play lines here. We've got Underworld Breach with Goblin Engineer. We've got Kiki-Jiki, obviously, with Survival of the Fittest to just find Hyrix Tower Scout. And again, we were very modest about the amount of treasures we were generating, but we still have 2 floating generic. So there's 8 mana total. We technically net 1 more. So we would go from 8 to 3 up to 9.
Then we go down 1, and then we'd find Hyrix Tower Scout, then we'd play it, and then that's a win. Well, alternatively, we can play Goblin Engineer, tap it for Curio, get Curio into play, and then do anything to win off of that, like recast Kiki, bounce stuff game.
I'm just using Hanks to draw another card, see if I get anything else I want. I found a Tinderwall. This is just good ramp. It's not necessary, but it's there. It's also good fodder for Underworld Breach, by the way. So I feel like Underworld Breach is probably the cleanest way to go about this. And then we would pull into... well, it's interesting. I've added Grinding Station, Underworld Breach, but there isn't really like a Storm card in the deck. We didn't add Grape Shot or anything. Technically, the win...
We find a combo.
Yeah, we just pull into a combo and play it. Yeah, I'm just going to do the Kiki line because it's fun.
Yeah.
But that's it. So 3 treasures, 2 generic gone. Boop, tap it. Let's just say we had to use Bolt Bend to keep this alive. Bolt Bends, we'll create a copy of the monkey. Bam. We'll get 6 more treasures. Bam. And yeah, we'll use a treasure. Discard the, I would say the Tinder Wall at this point. Find Hyrex. Cast Hyrex. GG.
Yep.
Okay, so this worked out well, but we drew well. We're fortunate that we didn't pull into any of the dead, like, Snoop cards.
I mean, also, we drew well. We found Survival of the Fittest. Survival of the Fittest just does very dumb things in this deck.
Yeah, any deck where it's playable, honestly, it's going to be very good. I like this. I don't know. What would you, what do we change? Is there a better 2-card combo for this deck that we should just be rolling with?
Well, I mean, the Goblin Recruiter is the best 1-card combo that we can possibly run, because that's just find Recruiter, have enough mana, and have a draw, which we get off of Tom.
Where is the Goblin Recruiter? I'm sorry. Is Goblin Recruiter not in the deck?
Yeah.
Let's add Goblin Recruiter really quick. Yeah. No, this is not accurate because Loamcrafter Fawn is not. This is not accurate. Hold up.
Wait, yeah, what the crap happened? Did it not save when we made the changes?
No, now that's so weird. Okay, well, anyways, Goblin Recruiter's in there. You got to use this version, by the way. That's amazing. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what I would want to change or if there's anything that really actually needs to be changed. It's good. I think Tabernacle is really smart for this list. I think...
I love the inclusion of Reap, because I completely blanked on the fact that, yes, the zombies are black, so yes, you're getting a lot of cards back off of Reap. If you wanted to do a deck with the really crappy Reap loop line, this would probably be the deck to do it. It's just really bad as a combo.
Right. You would need Reap. Reap would need to go into fast mana, like Ritual, and then like Eternal Witness.
Reap fast mana and then a regrowth effect, like a spell that will go into the graveyard so you can keep getting it back with a Reap. So you just keep doing a regrowth.
Right, there is a green spell that sacrifices a creature, gain mana. Hold up.
Metamorphosis.
Not that. Oh, is that it?
Yeah, that's the snake thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Metamorphosis. It only lets you use that mana for creatures, though, so it's not great.
No, it'll go into Dockside, but you'll be able to. You want to? Okay, so you would need to.
So many extra steps.
I know, but it would just be in the list anyways. Obviously a Reap combo. I'm trying to think if there's a good way to.
Don't try comboing with Reap.
Oh, I really want to now.
Yeah, no, it's not worth it.
Okay. So that's the deck. I think it's good. I'm not really sure how much more we could change here. Yeah, it gets mana equal to the CMC of the sack creature +1. Yeah.
It's food chain, but one use and you don't exile the creature.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate that Gruul's like main issue is the simple fact that a lot of the combo cards in these colors you need to find somehow, some way. And it's going to rely on draw in a lot of cases and luck. So I'm trying to think if there's better creature combos that we could be rolling with. They're all expensive. So technically, I mean, we could like Tooth and Nail out a 2-card combo or Defense of the Heart, right? Defense of the Heart is when they have more creatures than you, right?
Yep. No, not even if they have more creatures than you. If an opponent has 2 or more creatures.
3 or more. 3 or more.
My bad.
So technically we could set up combos with Defense of the Heart in this deck. It's another enchantment, mind you.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's left unchecked, it just happens.
I will say just Creature Tutor into Goblin Recruiter is the cleanest thing that we have.
Creature Tutor into Goblin Recruiter. Yeah. How much mana requisite is that to go off?
5 mana to do the Goblin combo, because you need to play Goblin Recruiter, then you need to play Conspicuous Snoop that you draw off of Tom, and then you need to play Goblin Torch Carrier or play Skirk Prospector.
Okay.
So it's 5.
All right, guys, in the chat. Hopefully, this was
Informative.
informative to say the least. Here, I'm just checking the. For some reason, the
Also,
stream like froze on my end, but you guys are still seeing it. What's up?
also, sorry to all of you for not being terribly lively today, just because I had to wake up at like 5 a.m. to do a work conference thing, so
You're
I'm
good.
tired.
You're good, man. I feel pretty pooped today. Oh, the competitiveness of the deck went up with the conspicuous Snoop line. I don't know how
It
that
did.
works. I don't know how that works. You guys can't see it because of our faces, but it's like 52% competitive now. Check it out. The Goblin Engineer Cloudstone combo's clean too. Yeah, honestly, I love the survival lines in this deck. I think they're really good. Namely, they have to have anger, they have to have a mountain in play, but they're not difficult to set up. They're just a little costly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing I would really change. That's Hanks. It's interesting. Like the deck is really potent. It's hard to tell in a vacuum again with this list because a lot of it is reliant on what you're doing to your opponents. But I'm not going to lie, I think Defensive of the Heart here is actually a really good call. I think that Hyrix Tower Scout with Kiki Jiki is probably a smart play. If there's another 2-card creature combo that's low CMC that we could also be playing that just functionally works well on the list, maybe we should be rolling with it. Is there a Glinthorn Buccaneer line we should include?
Uh, I mean, we could run, what is it, Keen Sight with Glinthorn Buccaneer. It's a Curiosity Glinthorn Buccaneer.
Oh, the keen sense.
Yeah, Keen Sense. I don't
And
recommend that, but we
no,
could.
only because it's an aura again. Mm.
Um, but
I
also
don't hate
I
it.
wanna point out the commander's name isn't Honks, it's Hansk. It's
Hansk.
any oop, freaking Visco girl, Hansk.
Oh, awakening over Seedborn Muse. And which awakening? What are we talking about? Oh,
Hasn't Awakening untap your opponent's stuff as well?
I think it
Everybody
does.
untaps on everybody's turns.
At the beginning of each player's upkeep, untap all creatures and lands. What, Will? You don't like that? You don't like
I mean,
giving value?
I'd rather just freaking what is it? I'd rather pay one more mana to only untap my stuff
I
and
can
also tutor for it easier.
I can understand that.
Like I'm the guy who advocates for group hug in cEDH because it throws off how like 90% of decks play to the point where no one can beat
Mm-hmm.
you because no one knows how to play into group hug in cEDH.
Mm-hmm.
But like it does this is not it. It's
Yeah.
draw. Group hug draw is the best way of doing it because if you do group hug draw into any form of stacks, you just win the game because everyone just enters a Mexican standoff.
So we're gonna go and add Defense of the Heart on the sideboard. I'm gonna say that I want to narrow this down to. I would like to say that I prefer this with just two-card creature combos and one dual caster mage line. I think that would be better. And
I
then obviously keeping the survival of the fittest line with Goblin Engineer.
I think if we have the Goblin Recruiter line and then Kiki Hyrex with the survival, that's good enough because that's 3 different win cons. 2 of them involve Kiki Jiki, one of them does not involve Kiki Jiki, so it should be fine.
Well, is there a Kiki Jiki? Is there a Kiki Jiki another Goblin equals win? Because like if we just Goblin Recruiter those 2 cards to the top, we can draw them with
Lightning
a
Crafter, but like,
oh.
nah.
Does that not?
Sorry, no,
Oh,
you need another sack outlet to get that going as well. Never mind, that's Skirk Prospector Lightning Crafter.
right.
Um,
I'm just saying that we could draw into them potentially with Hunks.
yeah. Uh, Theoretically, there is the new goblin that says your modified creatures get extra combats when this hits, or it's like when this is modified, you get an extra combat. There's probably something that can be done there. That's
Hmm.
still probably a 3-card combo as well, not a 2-card combo. Lightning Crafter plus Skirk Prospector and Kiki Jiki is the closest that I think we get.
Snoop is a win with Kiki on top. Conspicuous Snoop. Just
Well,
what?
it's not a win with that purely, but it will be a win just because it's infinite tap tokens, and then you can win
Right.
with like a million different things with that. You can either flip your recruiter to try to combo off, or you can Skirk Prospector to
Right.
sacrifice some of the tokens to play Kiki and then get something else on
Yeah.
top.
That's the line I remember. Like you use the last conspicuous Snoop to copy the Goblin Recruiter and then switch the top of your deck to the one that lets you
Yeah.
Mock Fanatic or whatever.
Yeah, if you want to do Shalak Mons, what you do is you add Skirk Prospector into the line, and then you uh your first play is to use Snoop copying Skirk, sacrificing the recruiter to play the Skirk Prospector. Then you do the whole Torch Carrier thing. You make infinite copies of Snoop. Then with your infinite mana, you play Kiki off the top, and then you have Shalak Mons on top, and then you can play that, and then you can sacrifice all your Snoops for game. So
Something I've n-
you can change it to do Skirk and then line it up that way as well.
Yeah, Skirk Prospector is just a good card.
Yeah,
All right,
he's a
gang.
good lad. He's a good lad.
Well, thanks for joining us on this Wednesday live brewing session. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave it a like. It does go a long way. Honks is really fun. I like this list a lot. I kind of want to come back next week and just do Minx and Boo, just to say I did it. I like this deck a whole lot. I think that Gruul is just suffering from a handful of consistency issues, but I just need to take a harder look at the creature combos to see if there isn't something better for us than the Goblin tribal stuff. Not that it's bad, it's just I don't want my list to be chocked full of non-bows. Do you know what I mean? But with all the draw you get, I think it's probably okay. I also think with all the draw you get that Reap is amazing, and also Underworld Breach is just even better with the fact that you are fueling your graveyard here. Love the deck. I think that I could probably revise this and make an even better version, but again, I'm always looking to make another list in paper. I'm glad I revisited Rograk and cEDH. I think my left-handed Rograk is in my mailbox, by the way. I might need to grab that in a second. But I'm considering making another list, and it might be Gruul. We'll see. I don't know if Hunks is there yet. Your thoughts? Closing thoughts, Will?
I can pitch you a couple different Gruul decks just to try them out because you can one try out Agatha if you'd like, or you can try out Street Urchin Aranus, which is the interesting Protean Hulk deck that I've recommended on the channel before. So it's Aranus and then Street Urchin as the background.
Yeah, Street Urchin's kind of cool.
And
It's
it's really good because Aranus has Death Touch, so Street Urchin becomes a sack an artifact, pay one, kill something.
sacrifice this creature deals 1 damage to any target. That's amazing.
Yeah, and Aranus
Yeah,
being Death Touch is gross. Love it.
you just need to play out Protean Hulk essentially.
Yep. And then you can sack your Protean Hulk and you can win with whatever you want to win with.
Where? How do you? Okay, hold up.
Hmm?
How do you spell Aranus?
Erinis.
Maybe we do that. I would like to. I would like to try another Gruul list for sure. I like the color pairing a lot. Aranus Gloomstalker.
Yeah, and Aranus is also just really good. Oh, I cracked a fetch. That means I'm going to ramp for the rest of the game because it just puts a land from my grave into play. Okay.
Return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield, not tapped. Yeah, yeah, it's not nonsensical. Return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Are there any good? Huh?
You
Do
just
you
do fetches.
do
That's
you
all that
just?
you really care about.
Well, no, yeah. There's that. Do you use any like retrace effects or what are they? Is it retrace?
Yeah, retrace the
You
discard land
make
ones.
yeah, discarding a land. Flame jab. It's the flame jab deck.
Man, if there's a really, really good retrace that's going to be coming out in the very near future, that would be fantastic. We wouldn't
Oh
know
my
about that,
god.
though.
I mean, you get retrace with Ren and 6. That's a good card. We should have put that in the deck, by the way. I like Ren and 6 a lot. Is this still expensive? Probably. Yeah, it's still expensive.
Yeah, it's modern. It's such a good modern card.
Yeah. Beamtown Bully is funny. Beamtown Bully is fun, excuse me. The Beamtown Bullies? What? I thought you were just making stuff up. What is
No,
this?
that's an actual card. It reanimates stuff onto your opponent's boards, if I'm remembering the right one.
It gains haste, goad it at the beginning of the next end step, exile it. I kind of like this.
You give people Blightsteel, or you give them like self-hate effects.
Oh, that's interesting. Beamtown Beatstick. You get artifact equipment as well. Sorry, I'm getting way too distracted. All right, thank you guys for joining us on this one. We're going to head out here in a second. Again, feel free to leave this like. Feel free to leave those deck lists in the comments after this video. That's how this will work. So Beef Supreme, I was reading your comment. Feel free to leave your deck list for Daryl, Hanks in the comments afterwards. The whole goal of these, and I should have said this from the beginning, is to help make a better version of the deck. So it's all community driven. If you guys want to talk about it in the comments, please do, but I'd love to see your list. And I'll see you on the next one, next Wednesday.
Peace.
All right. I'm going to give this a second to catch up, but yeah, I could see doing Aranis. I mean, I don't, what are the best Protean Hulk lines right now?
Seeker of Skybreak with the other guy, and then you can get Torch Carrier to give Skybreak haste, and then you just loop through your whole deck. Conspicuous Snoop is one, and Teamer Sabertooth Dockside Extortionist, because your Infinite Treasures pays into Street Urchin for a kill.
Well, that's what I want to do then.
Yeah, it's. I recommend Seeker of Skybreak line, or the Seeker of Skybreak combo, and then Sabertooth Dockside.
I think
Those are the two combos I'd run.
Right, Sabertooth. I mean, that just functionally works by itself, right? The Sabertooth Dockside, because it's 4 and 2. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you just need to make 5 treasures. Yeah. Right. And then the treasures you make are the treasures you need to sacrifice and kill people.
Yep. It's very clean.
No, that's super clean. Obviously, Dranith Magistrate would stop this, but that's about the only thing. It's not like it's difficult to early out a Street Urchin.
Yeah, also it's not difficult to early out just Aranis in general and ramp, because if you get Aranis out, you can just hard ramp into whatever you want and then try to find some removal for Dranith. So you don't care about Dranith.
Do you? Okay, so you also run the enchantment that lets you get a creature out, right? What's it called?
Which one?
It's just like the same thing. It's like an enchantment that lets you find a creature instead. It's like
the aura. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The rebirth thing, not rebirth, but
rushed rebirth.
No, rushed rebirth is a different one.
No.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Pattern of rebirth.
Yep. There you go.
If it dies, would you sacrifice Aranis at that point to just like? Would you pattern of rebirth Aranis? Sacrifice
the thing is, you're running all the dorks and elves and everything like that, so you just put it on an elf, sack the elf, getting Protean Hulk, and then sack Protean Hulk.
Would you run all the dorks in that list?
Yeah, why not? Like your whole goal is to just ramp into a Protean Hulk, or like Court of Calling into a Protean Hulk or something.
Right, herself. That's interesting. I can see this working. Sorry, we're just chilling. We're just chilling, guys. Thanks if you're still here. You play Leveler and similar like effects in Beamtown Bully. Oh, that's awesome. Commander creatures you control have... Okay, so you need to keep Aranis around. Yeah, you do need to keep Aranis around.
Yeah, but you're fine with that. It's not hard to keep recasting Aranis because your entire deck is just ramp.
Ooh, that doesn't work at all. I was going to say, like, it'd be nice if the food chain line worked in here, but it won't work with this.
Nope, sadly no.
Yeah, your commander creatures. I wish food chain played into activated abilities on creatures, but it does not. Because technically this...
so gross if it did.
It would be really gross. It would honestly... I still don't think it would make it any more playable than it already is. Like, it's so good.
I mean, Thrasius would play it then.
Oh my god. Yeah, with a Mist Hollow Griffin. Or if there's Squee, I guess, in their color combination. I feel like the typical...
Mist Hollow Griffin and the Eternal Scourge? Whatever
Eternal
the
Scourge.
colorless one is.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be gross.
I might do... That'd be fun to do Street Urchin. I feel like Mix and Boo is just... Maybe edges it out just by virtue of the fact that there's a lot of draw.
Yeah.
say.
It's your choice between just getting a good amount of draw and a different type of infinite